the sides shine their lights onto the future they behold. Into the sky we must go, a new home we will build, our atrial, staring at the mess we've made. What was once has gone away. Living in the end of days, of us the dark will be afraid.
Hello, everybody.
Oh, are we?
Yeah, you're up, John. You're up. Go.
Of course, and the stream's not working well.
Oh,
welcome everyone. After a bit of a hiatus, we are back with Emberwind, sponsored by Nomnivore Games on Arv and Elrond's channel. And let's see. Oh, I have really no Kickstarter to hike this time. So because Arv made, congratulations to him. A little bit late, but
so now
congrats anyway.
You just pushed now that Emberwind is in its official first release.
Wow, we have the Expanded Skies of Axia book. They just wrapped up a tour. They were at Gen Con, so hopefully folks got a chance to see them there, which is awesome. But we should continue with the game because we are down one player, unfortunately, but we're going to soldier on.
Poor Malma, her internet.
Yeah. Technical difficulties, we're going to call that. And but let's move on. Introduce the three players who are here while I pull together the scattered remnants of what we actually did. I know what you guys did, and we'll hopefully get the party back together before the end of the session. So, Saad, why don't you start us off?
Oh yeah, hello everyone. I twitch.tv /sword_. I do the production side, and I also play in it. I am Laureate, who is a druid of a former scientist or academy member who was disgraced because of an event, and we had some fun fighting bears, and we had to run from them.
Bears and stags.
Those stags with the weird reflecting thing made it really annoying as well.
Well, that was kind of the point. But yes, anyways, in getting the Arlen Steel, which the party was successful at. So yeah. All right. So glad to have you here, Saad, as well. Saad also handily takes care of my AV duties, so I can concentrate on the game. So next up is Brahms. Brahms, good to have you back. It's been kind of touch and go here and there. I hope your vacation was good, by the way.
Vacation was good. Spent a lot of time at the cottage. Was disconnected quite a lot of the time, which was terrible. Actually, Arv asked me about that, and it's like, "How was your disconnect?" I'm like, "Awful." I like being connected. At any rate, I'm Brahms Velrethian. You'll see me here doing the Emberwind thing usually every other week on this channel, and starting hopefully in September we'll be starting up Lex Arcana. I've got to get Johnny on that and start talking to me. Johnny Pittman, also on Aspergenesis on this channel. He'll be running that shit show once it actually launches, but we're working on getting that, which is basically like ancient Rome has never fallen, and there's magic and all
It's super
sorts of
mythical.
nifty.
That's what's nifty about it.
Yeah. I like ancient history, but that's just me.
Mm.
But that's basically what I'm going to be doing in the next month, and moving in the next month on September 1st. So busy boy am I. And that's it for me.
All right. Well, we're glad to have you back. And as I said, I'm teasing it. The whole thing is, the name of the session is Reunited, and it feels a bit strange. So hopefully we can make that happen. And on to the third member of our group, Jennifer Brozek. Jen, good to have you here, of course. You and I just hung out for the past few days, one of the best gaming conventions ever, in my humble opinion. So how are you? How are things? How are the kitties?
I've got 2 sleeping here and 2 elsewhere, and they will probably show up during the stream. I'm Jen Brozek, author and editor. Had a really good time at Gen Con, and now I'm getting ready for a Kickstarter that we haven't mentioned, and trying to finish the Battletech novel in the next month and a half or so. Otherwise, doing quite well.
It's been a busy publishing year for Jen, with the Elder Gods anthology, her Shadowrun novel, and her Battletech novel. So,
Yes.
Which is all good stuff. Everyone should go check those out. It's Battletech Iron Dawn, Shadowrun Makita Red, both of which sold very well at Gen Con. We were very pleased by the response for fiction. And of course, the Elder Gods anthology available through Pulse Publishing. So glad to have everyone here. Like I said, Marie Piloto is having technical difficulties. She will not be joining us, unfortunately, tonight. So Mama will be, I guess I'll be kind of Jaegering her more or less, but she will just nod a lot and smile and maybe eat something, and we'll go from there.
Eat a lot of things.
Yes. As last left the group.
It's always peckish.
Yes, it's peckish. Okay, it's not peckish. Malma's more than peckish. Let's be honest. Last of the group has still been split, with Malma and Laureate and Savoy off to get the crazy Arlen steel, which they did manage to recover with the help of Talon in a pretty fierce battle against, like they said, some crazy bears, some crazy bear cubs, and some crazy magic reflecting stags. But they were victorious and made it out with everyone in more or less one piece. And you guys are kind of outside now. Just a quick scene set. And Everest had his own little mini adventure, which ended painfully. Let's just put it that way. When a mysterious stranger had busted him out of the being held by the chasers. And also he got literal proof that his nemesis, whose name I've forgotten again, if you would fill me in, Brahms, on that. I want to say sexy, but that's not quite correct.
Not even close.
I know. What is it again? Ixis, that's it. Okay, so I had the letters rearranged. I'm allowed. I am the DM here. Ixis had a nice little chat with him and kind of hinting at the things she wants to do to Adriel and what she's carrying around with her. All sorts of stuff that made Everest very nervous and frightened and probably quite annoyed and angry at the same time. And then he was, well, I won't go into other details because he needs to tell the party, because the party doesn't really know what happened to him. So I think we're going to start, though, with the folks on the island after the Arlen Steel. So Laureate and Savoy, we actually literally left with you guys making it outside into the small chamber. And I assume we all probably kept moving until we were actually out of the cave proper.
Correct. Yeah,
Yes.
I think it's probably safe. I think
What I
like
figured.
the bears would probably be chasing us the entire time.
Actually, no, not really. They seem to have lost interest in you once you actually left the cavern for some strange reason.
They're very territorial. Once we
That's
lose
a good guess.
their territory, we are no longer a danger to them or their cubs, but we did manage to kill an awful lot of them.
Mm-hmm. Let's put some music on as well, John. Let's get
Yes. That's a. Why don't you, Chad, feel free to select what you feel.
I guess maybe this one. Nice.
While we're picking the music, welcome everyone who's popped into the stream. Sorry we had the last minute cancellation last time. We just simply did not have enough players to run a quality session. I we were down by 2, and I just didn't feel it made sense to run with half of them. Plus, I'll be completely honest, I was swamped by pre-Gen Con preparation, so it actually worked out a little better for me anyways. I love playing this game. At the same time, it can be problematic, and sometimes life intervenes, and this is one of those times. So, but we're back. Gonna be back on schedule. So,
Yeah,
welcome.
just quickly, John, we don't see you in Roll20. Are you in it? Has it done a weird thing?
Probably help if I signed in.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that might help.
It's those little details that make all the difference. Right?
Yeah.
Nails.
I am the invisible hand of the GM. Anyways, all right, I'm showing up shortly. So after catching your breath, I think Lauria, were you taken down to Fallen or not? I thought someone was Fallen during this.
No, it was incredibly close, but Mama nearly got.
Mama was very close to Fallen, but was not.
Yep.
Okay.
I remember she had to use a tide turn to heal, if I remember correctly.
That was it. Yeah, she was down,
Yeah.
but you guys all made it out under your own power. Oh, good choice for the music.
Actually,
So yes, you are kind of standing there
And she's got
panting.
like 40 hit points still.
Yeah, she did use that time turn. I know that made a big difference. So, so yes, you have all managed to escape and are outside. Talon has the Arlen seal clutched in his hand, or wrapped around him because he was still holding his sword, and is like, yeah, kind of all look at each other with a shared, hey, we made it out of there in one piece. Holy crap.
So Joy does not actually let anybody rest on their laurels unless they literally can't move. She is herding everyone out. It's like, Mama, take scout, you take rear, the most hurt person in the middle, we're headed straight to the ship.
Agreed.
Do not go, do not collect $200, get to the damn ship.
That bear was fascinating.
Watch those cats.
And Laurie, as you say that, you actually hear kind of a low rumbling growl/roar echo from inside the cavern somewhere.
Yeah.
Ow.
A bear able to revive its cubs? That's unheard of.
Yes. And well, I have no idea what that was, but I don't even know what they were.
It was
Yeah,
definitely some kind of bear, at least from what I saw.
And Talon says, and what was up with that your magic didn't seem to affect those stag beasts or whatever they were? That was really odd too.
This entire place was
It
odd.
affected them, but not as much as it should have. I mean, I've seen you guys fight, and you're, good at it. That was unnerving at best, but maybe we should discuss this back on the ship.
Probably a good idea.
Okay, you are able to make it out without incident, or at least back to the ship without incident. Nothing comes out to menace you from the rocky crags or the kind of scrub brush or anything. Everything seems to either have been eaten by the bears or just everything hangs out in that main room.
Right.
So, did you have any questions for like Talon when he got close to the cage?
I mean, so when he grabbed the steel, can I ask him, Talon, do you mind if I hold the steel? I haven't really ever held Arlen steel. So.
Yeah.
Sure.
What was in the cage?
What looked like maybe crusted over bird droppings. And that was it. But the cage, it didn't look broken. It looked like someone had let out whatever was inside from the outside. It was just open. Like the animal, or if there had been an animal there, it didn't break out. It was released. That's all I can tell you. And honestly, I'm lucky I remember that much because I was too busy grabbing the steel and beating feet, and he clanks his armor. This stuff is not easy to run in, let me tell you. But yeah. I'm sorry?
Did you survive?
Yeah, but now I'm all sweaty. I mean, stand-up fight's one thing, but hustling them over there and in this stuff it's quite another. Laureate, you are holding the Arlen steel, which admittedly is, I'm going to tell you right away, is unlike anything you've ever touched before.
Can I just give it a little bend test to see how, is it just so extremely solid that?
Well, actually, it's.
Or is it one of those weird kind of flexy ones that are really unbreakable?
That, if you had to guess, and I'd like you to make a knowledge roll because I'm not sure how much you studied metallurgy in the academy.
I know a bit, but not Arlington steel is rare, so
Exactly.
I wouldn't have had a physical touch of
but-
one.
But you made your check even with my slight modifier.
Yep.
Arlen steel is very light, very flexible, and very, very durable. Like you said, nearly indestructible.
Yep.
So there are ways to craft it, either blended with other metals or rare, if you have enough by itself, to make unbelievably sharp and durable weapons.
Mm.
So there you go. I mean, it has that crimson tinge again, like I said, in the sunlight, it kind of almost glitters or glows, sort of. But yeah, it feels unbelievably light. Like for our analog would be like aluminum, but with a tensile strength of steel.
Yeah.
Or
that's what I
higher.
expected.
Yep.
I hope this is enough for what he wants. I mean, like, they have to
How
find
much
more
is
of
it?
this.
They just said find what, and this is Talon speaking, they said find what we could find here. And at brief points, that's it. I'm done. I don't know about you guys. If
How
you
much
want,
is
if you want more, it's a ribbon about 5 feet long.
Okay.
And like maybe 2 inches across. So, but it's like anything more than that, if they want us to go find one of those war beastie things you're talking about, that's another matter altogether, and will involve a significant increase in pay. At
Well,
least
what
from
I know about, based on what I know about this, how much money is this strip worth?
if you had to estimate, you would figure probably several hundred gold. It's rare. I mean, possibly even to the right buyer, it might even be like 1,000. So, because war beasts, your book said they're not all that common either. And then
Right.
there's a matter of trying to collect from them too. So there's that.
Correct. Okay.
So, yeah, I would say that's and granted, again, you work in wood, you don't work in metal. But even you could ballpark that as like, yeah, this would be a pretty penny's worth.
Right. Okay.
Mhm.
In that case, okay, and we'll let Talon keep a hold of it. I mean, once we're on the
He's really happy to let Laureate's holding it now, and he's really happy to let her. As
Okay.
far as he's concerned, he helped you get
Eventually-
your job, but it wasn't his job to get it. So
yeah, eventually I'm going to play with it on the ship or something, but
Yep.
because until we are on the ship and going and not being eaten by various bits of flora and fauna, I also suggest to Mama, since we have that second ship, that if we are attacked again, we just simply let the second ship go and give the pirates an easy target. I know she doesn't like this idea.
yeah, she looks rather pained at that concept.
Even
but
I'm paid better.
Okay,
We
so
we could use that ship for a lot of
yes.
But
or
Talon
we
goes
could, like,
to stand by Savoy. Okay, look, Savoy is correct. If pirates do attack us,
again,
releasing the decoy would be a good idea. Hopefully, we'll get back with it. You'll get back with it in tow, and everything will be fine. If
Correct.
not, giving them something to go after that has less danger than what we pose to them is not a bad idea.
I have to think tactically here. We have completed, well, we've only completed half of our mission.
True, and the pirates have been Talon looks around like I wouldn't call them numerous, but they were kind of hanging around, it seems.
I feel like if we can get that second ship back to Adriel, we could solve a lot of our problems.
Yes, I understand that. That I would like to get that second ship back. However, we have to think about this. We'll make a decision on the spot, but that is the top of my plans.
All right.
Agreed. Are we putting someone on that ship or just putting it under tow and
No, hell
hauling
no.
it back?
We're not
I could stay on it. Just keep an eye on it. We need to
Except
make
that
sure
we
that
have
the
to,
ropes.
We have to cut it loose.
I'll
Yes.
just I don't know, hold on to the ropes and you can pull me up.
I do not call that a very sound plan.
Because the ship still flies. The other one
Yes.
still flies.
Simply tow it behind us, right? Actually, this is what
theoretically,
Mama
yes.
would actually tell us whether or not how dangerous or stupid this part of it would be.
And she says, well, it would be better to have someone on there to help guide it. Yes, we could tow it as it is, but inertia being what it is, if we have to stop suddenly, that other ship's going to keep going without someone at the helm to slow it down. So there
Alright.
is technically a danger.
I mean, like,
in
if
that.
you want to do that, Savoy, and keep an eye on the ropes, so if you need an emergency pull-up, I can just hoist you straight up onto the main ship. You can do that.
Either way, I do know that that means we need to have 2 ropes from the one ship to the second. 1 to the boat, 1 to the person.
Yep, we've got enough rope for that, I think.
Yeah, there's plenty of rope around to be able to lash it to the other boat and take it under tow.
So the next question is, who's the next best pilot?
I mean, I can do it, but if you want to do it, Savoy.
Alan's like, it's not me. Not my.
Actually, what is piloting under anyway?
It's been a while since I've done the piloting, but
it's kind of knowledge, really, unless you have like a specialty. So
since I've been trying to figure that out, I guess that would be me. All right. All right. We will do. I will be on the second boat, and we will be Dorabus to bring it in.
all right, Talon and I will keep an eye on you and pull you up if needed.
You'll run the rope. I'll be on the cannon. Arquebus, whatever it was, trebuchet, I think it was, or what the weapon we had on the ship.
Lister.
That's it. The one I didn't name, of course. And he says, hopefully, with us dispatching that group of pirates, there won't be. I mean, this isn't a very well-traveled route. As a matter of fact, I don't think I've ever been out here, so the fact that we even found pirates out here is a little odd. However, after our decimation of that group, I don't think they're going to be messing with us, and 2 ships should be even a stronger, anti-target than 1. So ideally, maybe we won't even see anyone coming back.
Ideally, that would be nice.
Indeed. All right. So let's see. I need. Who's tying off the ship?
It would be Mama.
Well, setting up the initial tying would probably be Malma's job, since she'd be the most skilled at it.
Yep. Do we have her scores? We could have her do
let me go find them. Keep it, Mama.
I got her here. Well, her sleight of hand's pretty good. Jen, roll me a d20.
Yeah, I've got it here as well, so you need it for later.
So 1d20.
Mm-hmm. And actually, this comes into piloting, so you can roll it with advantage.
So roll it twice.
Yeah.
Oh, well, apparently that didn't work. But...
No, I saw it. I think, didn't it?
Oh, well, did it roll?
Well, weird.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it. Do you want me to do it?
All right. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, that totally didn't. I was just doing 1d20 to see if that would work, but no.
11.
All right, just made it, but she did make it. That's the important thing. So yeah, she ties off the other ship, and it is now behind this one. And so she says, "All right, well, she'll signal with a flag to when she's going to start moving, so you can keep up." And then it's like, pretty much green, go, red, stop. Because again, try not to get hit when we come into port.
I'm going to test something real quick here just to see if it's... Okay, that's what I needed to do. All right. Got
that figured out. A good wasted roll there, so that's a good thing. So there you go.
Great wasted roll. Or whatever next thing I needed to roll, that's it.
Exactly. Yes, indeed. Your usual, when you don't need them, you don't roll them, and when you need them, you don't roll. Anyways,
that is
moving on. So Savoy, you are the only one on the other ship. You are standing at the helm. You feel the kind of tug as the rope tautens and starts pulling your craft, and Mama gives you kind of the high sign, the green flag, that they're moving forward. So.
Okay.
That would be a knowledge roll for you to be able to you're kind of matching speed, basically. So this is going to be a knowledge
work.
I'm sorry?
Can that 4 that I rolled earlier work?
No. Nice try.
Of course.
And because you're not really all that, you're going to be a slight modifier on this one.
Yep.
Which you failed. All right. Well, the ship ahead of you is getting larger in your view. You're moving a little bit faster than you should be, and the rope is starting to slacken. And Mama holds out the red flag, telling you to slow down. So let's make another roll, please. First one is at a 3. So there you go. That's better.
It would have committed collision. That would have been bad.
Is that a critical for you or not?
Yes, 3's a critical.
Okay. All right. Good. You managed to get it under control with that, and now you are maintaining a steady speed behind her. The rope is not like super taut. It's but it's steady. It's like firm. It's like firm. You've matched her speed well enough there. You've taken the slack out of the rope, but it's still like almost like a tightrope, I guess is the best way to put it. Okay. It's not dangling between you, but it's not like stretched to the nth degree either. Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right. And with that, you all prepare to head back to Adriel. We will head back to Everest. Everest, who is still recuperating at the Vanier household.
Yep. I think he's having technical issues himself. His cam is like start stopping.
Yeah, I saw he froze up. We are having a great time here.
Except
why is everything going wrong right when the session starts with technical?
He's still looking a little bit on.
Wait.
It's like start stopping.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
You're roboting pretty badly. Okay. It's better. That is better. And camera's back on. Okay, we're good. We're back. So, as I said, we're cutting back to you. Hopefully, cutting back to you. Still recuperating at the Vanier household. So, let's see. Last I checked, you had a little bit of a chat with Savoy's sister. I think you were researching something in the library, if I'm not mistaken. Spiritualist magic?
Yep.
Okay. Is that pretty much what you're continuing to do until you've exhausted resources?
Yes, that's what we were discussing, yeah.
Okay, so pretty much like food, eat, sleep, practically sitting there. I mean, because you're going to have, you have probably a couple days at least. I mean, you don't know when they're coming back, but you've got time to exhaust their library, pretty much, even tracking down obscure references of a book that's like, what's about this magic, but I mentioned this on page 96, that kind of thing. So make me a general knowledge roll to see how well you do. Given the time, I'll give you a -3 on it because, like I said, you've got nothing but time to really delve deeply into the library.
Yep.
And again, since we're going for low, minuses on rolls are good and pluses on rolls are bad.
Oh,
it really helps if Everest doesn't roll a 20, which is bad. So the -3 drops it down to a 17. I guess your wounds are kind of paining you a little bit more than you thought. It's really hard to concentrate on what you think you're finding stuff, but then you kind of come out of a half daze and clutch your side and find you're kind of just written down scribbles, and you still think of Ixis. You see her like face kind of swimming in it's hard to push her out of your mind now that you've seen her after the past 10 years of chasing her, and to be that close to her. And also, let's be honest, to be completely the circumstances in which you found yourself facing her were not conducive to a really productive meeting. So I want to let you tell the party how that went down. So would I say it's PTSD? Maybe, but it's really hard to put your notes down and really concentrate on what you're supposed to be researching. It's just very difficult with that. And for an ardent, this magic is also very esoteric, and it's not really your bailiwick. So it's hard to comprehend for your style. Trying to figure out this style is tough. So all that combined is just not really helping you make a lot of headway here. So that's what I can tell you.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to take a break, walk around the courtyard, or just kind of keep trying to plow through it.
I think what he'd end up doing is he'd kind of pinch the bridge of his nose and kind of rub his eyes, and then just walk out of the walk out of the library and into the courtyard.
Okay. It is a cool, I think I said it was autumn if I'm not mistaken. It is a cool autumn evening. Oh yeah, because the Harvest Festival has ended over the past couple days. So that actually, the cool air feels good on your fevered brow. Not fevered per se, but deep in thought. The guards kind of look at you, not askance, but just kind of making sure everything seems to be okay, but none of them approach you really. Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult to kind of marshal your train of thought. So, but otherwise, it's a relatively peaceful night in the Merchant Quarter. So, I don't know if you have anything else, any other plans you wish to enact, or if you're just taking a breather.
Well, at this point, I think what he'd end up doing is he'd be sitting there and he'd look up at the stars and just sit down. And I think he'd start mulling over that specific transference that happened between him and Ixis, and seeing, where that would lead and what it had done to benefit him. Because he wasn't quite able to figure it out at this given moment, reading the text that he was given by Savoy's sister.
Right. All right. So basically, you're just kind of replaying the incident in your head to get A, kind of get it fixed in your mind, and B, to try and see if there was something you may have missed, or examining what you remember. Given the circumstances, can be a little difficult.
Yeah.
To get any kind of insight into her is what I think Everest would probably be doing. Does that sound correct?
Yeah, no, that's totally correct. I mean, what he's trying to do is, because of that power transference, the group isn't aware of this, but because of that power transference, he's gained some abilities, and he's trying to wrestle with that new transference of power and new abilities that he's been given, potentially because it was his mentor that was used.
Right. Yeah, that's another thing. That's a very good point. I'm glad you brought that up. You definitely feel when you awoke after resting, you definitely feel that you did have access to different abilities that before you had gone on your little sojourn into Gelspar. And that's something you need to kind of take stock of as well. So give me an insight roll just to see if you happen to unlock anything during your kind of introspection.
Sure.
Oh,
Yeah, I guess.
Well, there you go. Yes. So, all right.
So,
wow.
Everest showing the crazy wild range of his abilities, apparently. So the obvious thing there is, in that transfer, when she was drawing what she was drawing out of you, your mentor's spirit apparently was able to give back somehow. And the interesting thing is, either she was hiding it, or Ixis didn't seem to notice that this was happening. Either she was too busy in what she was doing to notice, or she let it happen for some mysterious reason. You're not really sure which. But nevertheless, it did happen. So was there anything specifically you were focusing on during that encounter that you wanted to perhaps ask me a question about to see if you recollect more with your critical success?
Because he didn't actually see the death of what had happened, would he do, not necessarily seeing how it happened, but say something more akin to empathy of what his master was going through or his mentor was going through at that time?
At the time of his death? Or when he made
exactly.
the
Like how it's not like when he made the transfer. So he was making the transfer. Would Everest have, it may have been muddled at the time, but would that transference have perhaps brought about some sort of not empathy, but some sort of insight as to how the death would have taken place, how she would have killed them, and the rest of the order.
That's way. Well, I could tell you didn't get that. I'm not gonna characterize it. You didn't get that. What you got was this of a spirit in extreme pain, torment, practically, like being held against their will, being bound to her, trying to resist but failing, and so this little act of rebellion was all he could do. But the pain part came through fairly clearly. That was even in your condition, which was pretty bad, as I recall. Even in your condition, your mentor's anguish was very, very clear. So, and that pretty much was the primary. In fact, once you think about it now, you're amazed that your mentor even had the wherewithal and the fortitude to be able to transfer this to you in his state, in his punishment, basically. It's like, my every movement is agony, given where he is being kept. It was really quite bad. It would be like, for a spiritualist, it would kind of be like their version of hell. Let's be honest. To be forcibly bound to someone who has figured out how to do that, and to be forcibly bound to someone for as long as they live, would just be awful. So yeah, that was the overwhelming sensation you received along with the abilities that were granted to you. Any other questions?
Okay. I think that's it. I don't think he would be mulling over too much more other than that. Other than just going back over the general, this is what happened and that sort of thing, and kind of again the PTSD nature of it all, just kind of causing just replay in his head.
Yep, which is not really a pleasant thing to review, of course. But Everest kind of, I think, would probably force himself to do so. I don't think I need to call for a willpower roll, because you're focusing directly on this because you are his desire to know, his burning need to know, I think, is overriding that. So I don't think it's going to be anything he would shy away from. He would just kind of steel himself and plunge in.
Yep.
So yeah, that takes, to do the examination, to kind of sink into that trance and really try to bring it out of you, probably takes a good hour and a half. You just kind of settle in and just, it's almost like meditation to delve back into, search those memories. So it takes a while for you. When you come back out of it, it's even deeper at night. It was evening when you started, and it's now like, you'd probably guess closer to midnight. No one has, there's a blanket around your shoulders, but that's pretty much it. No one else bothered you. No one else has kind of said, hey, what are you doing out here? They just left you alone.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I think after that little bit of time, I think he would actually go to make his way back into the library and then start back up reading. And I think this is something he's going to want to continue to do, even though he failed in this last recent attempt to understand. I think again that need to that thirst and that need for knowledge, either for his, he would be like that regardless, but given what it's pertaining to, Anixis and possibly a potential weakness, I don't think it's something he would let go.
Oh, and I totally expect him not to. Exactly. No, you can always make the roll after a significant amount of time has passed. So, and the fact that you took the time to kind of write or attempt to write your mental house, more or less, is a good kind of reset indicator to move forward and try again. I mean, you are still tired. It is late at night. You could theoretically think about tackling this in the morning if you wanted to, but if you want to burn the midnight oil, I'm not going to stop you. So,
I think given his state, I think some rest would be prudent. In his case in particular, like I would say, if he was entirely healthy, I'd probably say sure. But based on recent events and everything, I think sleep would. I could honestly, what I'd probably picture him doing is trying to attempt to burn the nut oil and then falling face down into the book and falling asleep in it, and then somebody kind of just one of the servants coming by and pulled the book out from under him as to not damage it in any way, and then just he'd fall. His face would be on the table.
Yeah, that's pretty. If you were to try to do that, that's pretty much what is going to happen. That is correct. So, if you want to have the imprint of the desk on your cheek in the morning, we can certainly do that. That is not a problem. Because
I think that would be apropos for him.
Yeah. That the not only the person he's been searching for the past decade is so close, but also the news he has about his mentor, as well. I think he would try to push through, and yeah, that's pretty much exactly what ends up happening. So, yeah, and at some point in the early morning, you will wake up with a start, and peel yourself off the desktop, and probably go to bed at that point, realizing that maybe it's a little bit futile, that you're maybe pushing yourself too hard, or you can make a willpower check if you want to keep going. That's completely up to you.
I think he's going to try one more time to see if he can figure this out, because I think it's a little critical for him.
All right, well, the willpower roll is going to be at a +3 because of your physical condition, and it pretty much just exhausted. So, all right.
Yeah. Is that a defense roll, willpower?
Yep.
I don't remember.
Yeah, defense roll.
It's a defense roll.
Mm-hmm. That is a big shot.
No.
Wow. Well, Everest was the most willpowery of people. That is true, and in this case, it proves that is the case. And you remember opening the book, and then you wake up again with your other cheek on the desk, and it is morning. Yeah. So this night is not. This night is fruitful in some areas, not so fruitful in others. And your back now really hurts from being crunched over the desk all night. So that was your evening, sir.
Sounds about right.
Yep. That does sound exactly like what Everest would do. Yeah, exactly. All right, we're going to cut to you, since this was happening kind of the night, quote-unquote, before, and go back to the crew. Mm-hmm. Basically, the trip back to Adriel was fairly uneventful. If there were pirates, like you said, you cleared them out on the day the trip out here. There's no slaughterfish and certainly no skyworms. So it's actually peaceful for once. Is there anything anyone wants to do while on the ship heading back?
Well, I was going to play with the metal, but I'm now stuck on a ship on my own.
Yep. So that's going to be a little difficult until you get back to the city. Laureate?
I mean, out of interest. Okay, so I've got the weird stone as well.
That weird stone. Which one was that again?
That was the one from in the house of the killed kid that we.
Oh yeah, yes, you have that weird stone. Right. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Yes, you do.
Tell anybody about that?
We didn't really have time. We remember we tried to look for Everest, and we found that I think we told Talon, who said he'd tell someone, like a guard or something, like some people.
Something like that. Well, he was going to tell the guards about the dead kids. That was primarily his deal.
Yeah.
And you guys went and talked to Hob. Malma made the deal about the ship, and yes, strangely, that rock never came up.
Yeah.
Totally got forgotten.
So I've got the weird stone. I'm gonna, just out of interest, I'm just gonna touch the stone with the ardent steel and see what happens.
Oh.
All right. Nothing happens.
Okay. Just a weird experiment thing. It's not really much, because I don't have the tools right now to really look at the stone, so...
No, other than just physical examination, that's true.
Yeah, which I've already done, and I found didn't really find anything. So I'll just go back to probably just keeping an eye out for pirates or enemy ships trying to intercept us.
Okay. You also have the Arlen Steel. Do you wish to examine that further or not?
I'll give it a quick once-over. I assume that wouldn't take too long.
All right. Well, its physical properties, as I already stated, very light, very strong.
Is there any interesting blood marks or any
nigh on indestructible, which is why it's so valuable.
Yeah.
So, your question?
No weird blood marks or any kind of weird viscous
for metal, it has
it.
That unusual kind of a light red tint to it, which is odd. But no, there's no like like, I don't know, someone reached out with their dying hand and left a blood smear. No, it's completely clean. Matter of fact, you get the impression if you were to like try to stain it or mark it, it would just slide right off. It's very not quite slick, but smooth. Like things would have a hard time adhering to it.
That's all I've got. Nothing else much. I'm just going to keep an eye on everything. Hope we can get this second airship back.
Okay. So, Malma pilots, Savoy pilots. No real need to make any kind of changes. They keep it straight and true, heading back to the east, I believe. I think we head up to the west, so we're going to say back to the east. As is often the case on a return trip, it seems to go oddly faster than before. And it's like almost, I mean, time passes, but it doesn't seem as much time as heading out there. When you see the lights and the mass of Adriel in the distance, and you will get there about, well, let's see, if you flew out, did the deed, you kind of sailed all through the night, which probably also helped you avoid pirates too. Yes, to make things easier for the GM, we're going to say you get back pretty much at the crack of dawn.
Sounds good. We probably, if we didn't all know, we'd probably be exhausted as well.
Yeah. Well, after the fight, you are tired, but I think there's a lot of impetus to kind of get back to the city and, you know, before, because you certainly don't want to lose the Arlen Steel to pirates. That would really suck. But luckily, you are unmenaced by any of them. So your trip clearing them out on the way over seemed to have done the job.
And now we have a boat.
Yeah.
So we're going to be very careful in making sure that both ships tow in correctly. Probably won't put the second ship in a dock because we probably have to pay for it and we don't have the money. So we'll kind of leave it tethered and floating just behind
the dock. A ship.
Mala would probably know that.
Because if there's something we have to do to basically lay claim to the ship as salvage, we should do that ASAP. As in, like, this is a good thing for me to send Mama off to do. Name.
Oh yeah, she'd be good at talking up the. Yeah.
Name me as the owner, her as the captain, you guys as part of the crew, and have her deal with that.
Well, since we haven't written anything about this in Emberwind, I'm just gonna wing it here. I'm gonna say possession literally is 9/10 of the law in Adriel. However, there is a stolen ship registry that Malma does know of, because most cities do have them, because pirates are a problem.
Yeah.
And you can put in, quote unquote, a claim for up to 5 years if you wish to pay for it. Of course, there is a fee. And if the ship is recovered, the recoverers do get a reward, but the ship is turned over to the city so they can investigate the claim, make sure everything's above board. If it is the right ship and the person still around and wishes to claim it, they get to claim the ship. But again, you do get a reward for turning it in. You could, so if Malma says, well, that's what we could do, or we could just, paint it over, give it a new name, change the sailing, and,
all the people on the... Oh, wait, we got these from the pirates? Or we got these from...
Hob lent you the first ship because you destroyed the chaser ship. Well, no, actually, wait a minute.
This is the chaser's ship.
This is the chaser ship that you took from...
That we're currently flying. And
the narwhale, but it's a Skyworm that you guys came back on.
Right.
You destroyed the Gilded Drake. That's a goner. And then Malma's ship was impounded, yet the fee was paid and her ship has disappeared.
Correct.
And now you have another ship that you are claiming as salvage.
Yep.
To be investigated as a possibly off the stolen ship registry. So you have the chaser ship, which I believe theoretically, well, I can't remember what Hob said.
He said it. Either we gave him the ship or we paid him something like 10,000 gold.
It was a lot of gold. Yeah.
It was a lot. And
then Maddox came up with the idea of, hey, maybe they should have to do this job for you.
So
and it intimated that maybe he let you off the hook, assuming you did the work.
Right. So that meant that we should actually be able to keep both of these ships.
Well, yeah, there was never any discussion of any kind of. I actually think he did say, "Hey, keep whatever else you happen to find there." So that ship technically, if it's not on the registry, would be yours.
Right.
Oh, and if the ship, the other thing is, if the ship is not on the registry at all, there's still you can use it for now, but there's a 1-year period where anyone may make a claim against it if they have the proof. Like, I don't know what that would be necessarily, but if they could say, hey, this ship's been in my family's, if they could prove they owned the ship at one point in time, whether through a ship's log or something else, then they would actually have a claim for it and would have to settle up with the current owners in order to receive it, to get it back again, whether that's buying from them from a lesser price or something. So that's how that works. Again, all made up on the fly by me because we don't have any rules yet on how salvage works in Emberwind. But we'll have to, at some point, put something into that.
That's basically what I'd like to have Mama do. And if
you will head over to like the records hall and start doing the work.
Yeah.
Hey.
And if she needs, I mean, I want her to be registered as the captain. If they need a respectable name behind it, that's my name.
And she's kind of like, well, you might have a point there. As if she's about to protest, like, that's a good idea.
Put my name as owner as needed. Your name as captain. Laureate, do you have a whatever you want to call it?
Engineer, I guess.
Engineer. So we'll basically have everybody have a claim on this. And I look at Talon and I'm just basically, you're getting paid to be here.
You got it. I have the less pieces of paper my name appears on in this city, the better. Thank you very much. I'm getting paid elsewhere.
Yes, you are.
We need a name for the ship as well.
However,
I was thinking the Ardent Victory. I don't know, just something off the top of my head.
Ardent Victory. I'm fine with that.
So we got Ardent Steel and we won.
Well, you can't rename it yet until the claim periods are over.
Yeah, that's true.
Or
You have to wait.
Name the Windlass or something like that.
I think it was the Windlass. Yeah, was the name of this one right now.
Okay, so.
But you have to wait until all the terms are done, and Mama has to do her search anyways, find out what's going on, etc., etc., etc. But what Talon was saying to Roy was, assume when my term is over with Hob, if you guys are ever in need of a good mercenary, you could look me up. I'd sail with this crew anytime.
All right. Well, and
once we all have a job to finish up, however, I'm sure Hob won't be up until the crack of, well, it's really not dawn. Although, given this mission and the fact that everyone else has, shall we say, failed to return, let's keep them waiting. Besides, we're all could use, I think, a little bit of rest before we saunter in and deliver what he thinks is his. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
Oh, there's that kitty.
Yeah, this is the second one. You must have seen that earlier. This is Pharaoh. Delete my ears.
Let's make sure you all get. See, I assume we're heading back to. I should say you're heading back to your compound, your home.
Yep.
Let me make sure you get there.
And while we're doing that, we'll thank Orbweaver for subbing to Arv's channel using Twitch Prime. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, thank you so much, Orbweaver. That's Orbweaver
87.
87. Thank you so much. Awesome. A 5-month streak. Very good. Welcome back. Yes, I really have to work on following the stream more. I'm terrible that way. I even got another monitor, so I have to figure out how I'm going to make that happen. Anyways, so everyone, let's see, docking. You have 2 ships. You need 2 jocks. Because you can't put them like behind each other. It doesn't really work. Oh, I should probably have you as you come in. I need one more knowledge roll from you, Savoy, to ensure that you are able to.
Oh boy.
Dock properly.
Oh no.
This will be at a minus plus.
Wish me luck, guys.
No, this is not good. Oh, it's a good roll.
Yes. You bring it in nicely. Even Mama gives you an approving nod. Absolutely, it's not a problem at all.
Alrighty.
Yep.
I'm it's all that time I basically let Mama blather at me for hours on end on how to make the ship work.
See, there you go. It actually sunk in. Yep. The docking fee is due immediately, so.
And how much is that?
It's like 3 gold.
Okay, that I can cover.
All
And
right.
since I'm basically putting my name behind it, I'm going to cover it.
Okay. And that is for a 24-hour period, of course.
Ugh.
Yeah. At some point, you'll probably think about renting a slip in perpetuity, which will give you a better break on that. Yes. But that's
Yeah.
not for today. So, Mama has her assignment, and she says, "I'll take a nap and have something to eat and get right on it."
And then also look for a slip for us.
Oh, well, that was given. Actually,
All right.
count on
Thank
me.
you.
Actually, she says, I'd like to get cleaned up and maybe have a meal at your place first. Then I'll get right on it.
Fine by
'Cause
me.
I am a bit peckish after fighting and all that, and the bears and the scratch marks. Yes, it has made me
I'm
a bit
sure my
hungry.
cooks have missed you.
And I them. So it's I was just gonna watch this a little bit of a smile. I was like, I think let's head back to your place to get you folks situated.
You
It is
see us
good to
walking
be
back, and then the
back
cook's
to this-
boy is going to go running, going, she's here,
Mhm.
start cooking.
It's not too far off from that, actually. Yeah. And yes, it is. It does feel good to be home, for sure. So-
Laureate, you'll take care of you'll keep the Arlen Steel tucked away, yes?
Yeah. Would you be able to hold on to it?
Yeah.
Since I'm sure you've got a good hiding place in your manor that you can
I do.
put it some secure area.
I assume you're concealing it now, actually, like rolling it up and putting it into something, not just I'm just gonna hold this over my shoulders. I'm walking down the
Oh
street.
yeah. Well, I've got a huge cloak, so I can kind of just hide it under that till we
Well,
get.
you could probably wrap it around your waist like a belt under your clothing.
It's probably not. It would look weird. People would probably look at you. It's just fine under my
Pretty
cloak.
small.
Okay, whatever you do,
Yeah.
just make sure it's hidden.
It is hidden under his voluminous cloak. So the morning streets are, well, actually filled with merchants getting ready. The staking out their areas. Opening shops are starting to open for dawn. So early morning deliveries are happening. So not many of the people are out. No one really takes notice of you as you walk through, per se. And you don't notice anything out of the ordinary either. So much like the trip back to the city, the walk up to the merchant's quarters is handled without incident.
Yay!
Before you know it, you are back at the Veneer household.
Can I, while we're heading there, I want to have a look around for any chaser agents that may be following us, just out of interest.
Sure, that would
It's
be
based on what Laureate has problems with. She's more worried about the chasers than anything right now.
Yeah,
indeed.
probably a
Well,
little
yes. A smidge, just a smidge.
Let's do a quick perception roll, or was it
we'll do insight.
focus? I thought it was focus, but whatever.
Well, yeah, either one. That's fine. If you're focusing.
Focusing.
Yes. So you see, unfortunately, if there is a chaser around, they're a lot more subtle. There's no skull-faced goons kind of just trailing you or watching you from over a newspaper or anything like that. Nope, not really. It just seems to be ordinary morning, and probably the chances that you didn't land, like, I would assume you probably took it into the Port of Dreams, near the Red Mark. Yeah. So you're not really in Gelspar per se, which is normally they're hiding, kind of their stomping grounds. They don't come up here unless they have to, and whether they're using someone else to do their dirty work, they're hiding well within, blending with the scenery, the neighborhood, so you're not really able to find anything out of the ordinary.
All right. So what I wanted to know.
Well, yeah, it was worth a shot, absolutely. So, once at the Veneer household, what is everyone doing?
I'm pretty sure everybody is being hustled off to their rooms with baths and stuff.
Yeah, you're all pretty, bloody, dirty, grimy.
I need to make a quick detour somewhere. I'll join you in a bit after I give her Savoy the steel, because I need to.
Yes.
I'll go quickly report over to Maddox just to let him know that we've returned.
Sounds fine.
You're going to go to his house?
Yep.
They can always send a runner to just deliver a message.
I'd rather go personally.
Okay. All right.
Assume Talon's gonna join us. 'Cause-
Actually, you know what? Talon says, I probably should check in there anyways. Why don't I escort you if you don't mind? Just in case.
I
Thank you,
figured
Talon.
as much.
Mm-hmm. Well, you do have the steel on you, so he wants to make sure it gets there. He's got a vested interest in this too. Let's be honest.
Well,
No, he's
Savoy's,
gonna-
I pass it to Savoy, like in her manner, and then we head out, type of thing.
Okay. As long as he knows where it is, that's
Yeah.
the important. It's perfectly fine. All
And of
right.
course, I said when my sister is awakened, let her know that I'm back.
Of course, mistress. As they're already drawing you a bath and getting you out of those filthy clothes. All right. Lauren, are you going to clean up before you go, or do you want to head over right away?
I'm pretty much gonna head over right away.
Okay, that is fine. And Talon says as you're heading over, like, well, I'm not sure he's going to be up either, although it wouldn't surprise me if he was, mind you. But we'll find out when we get there.
We'll just leave a message with the guard out front then. And head
Okay,
back
you
here.
know, I could have done that for you. There's really no reason if you're not going to try to see
if
him
he's
right now.
there, I'd prefer to at least know. And he'd be willing to talk to me. So,
That's fair. All right. Okay. Let's see. Give me another insight roll, or I should say another focus roll. So I imagine you're probably still trying to watch out in case any eyeballs are on you.
yeah.
Same
Yes.
thing. Streets are a little busier. People, children, families coming out. But again, you don't spot anything out of the ordinary. Should probably do one for good old Talon as well. Just realized that. Well, let's see what the roll is, and I'll figure out if I need to look at something better later. This focus, I think, is actually pretty good. Well, that was a 3. Okay. He's walking along as well. Does not seem to, if he has seen something, he's not indicating to you that there is a danger of some kind. So, all right, and yeah, it does help that you're heading into the more rarefied merchants area where security is more stringent, and people like the chasers would stick out even more unless they decide to dress up like a noble or a merchant. So, yeah, there's not really, you don't get a sense of like I'm being watched or anything, except it's like, well, that guard on the corner, that heavily armed guard, is watching me to make sure I don't do anything unschans because, well, I'm still a little filthy and dirty from the trip. So there's probably like, what are they doing here? But no one accosts you, no one interrupts us, and you make it to Maddox's gate to his manor in the wingspan without incident. So, and of course it is guarded with 2 guards. So Talon kind of looks at you, says, your show.
All right, so I go up to one of the guards and say, is Maddox in? You just speak to him immediately if possible.
And who may I say is calling upon him?
Laureate.
One moment, please. And turns and slips into a side door beside the main gate. We're left cooling our heels out, not even in by the fountain. It's actually the gate. The fountain's inside the gate, and it's after a few minutes. Guard comes back. The gates swing open. Baron Maddox will see you now.
Too easy.
I have a feeling your name opens more than one gate around here. Talon mutters as we walk inside.
It doesn't actually.
it did that one.
He probably. Actually, it's good he doesn't know the stories. It's good.
Oh, and Talon kind of looks at you like, oh, really? All right. Everyone has a past. You walk past the glittering fountain in the courtyard area and into the white-on-white foyer where Maddox is waiting for you, actually. And he is, of course, immaculately groomed, completely dressed, looking every inch the Baron, merchant Baron that he is. And he says, Laureate, I am very pleased to see you. And he nods at Talon. I assume your calling upon me at this early hour means you have news.
Yes. Do you mind if we speak in private? I don't wish to put Talon in any problems.
Well, Talon is under the auspices of your employer right now, so I suppose that is up to him whether he feels he should hear this conversation or not. If it is not about the Arlen Steel, then it will be private. But I'm
Yes, it
assuming
is
you're
not
reporting
about the
your-
Arlen Steel.
All right.
But if you want to know about that, just quickly, it's we've returned with it. We weren't sure if we give it to you or Hob, so I assume you probably want it. It's currently at the Veneer residence.
All
That's
right,
about it,
let's
Talon. Yeah.
Keep that to ourselves. Yes, Talon, would you do me the favor of excusing us? And Talon says, well, I got what I needed. And he heads back out to the courtyard and closes the door behind him. Come step into one of my inner chambers where we shan't be disturbed. Would you like something to eat? You look a little ruffled. I guess is the
Well,
best way to
yeah.
put it. I've rarely seen you so disheveled. Can I have some clothes brought for you? Maybe a bath or something?
No, it's all right. Need me to get down to business, and I'll head back to the rest of my
All right,
party.
well, at least refreshment, something to drink, perhaps. Here, he brings you to the same room you had lunch in the other day.
Oh, jeez, the really extravagant room. Okay, that's
Not quite the view, you have to admit.
yeah. Sure.
Let me bring some spring water or some light wine at the very least. Refresh yourself, just please. Please sit.
Anything's fine. I'm not really in
All
the mood
right.
to drink, but sure.
Well, I am, especially with the good news. It is, as Hob said before, the previous people assigned to this mission never returned. So whether that was pirates or something else, we never found out. But if you truly do have the steel, and I have no reason to believe that you're misleading me, then you have accomplished something that is very rare. But again, that is for this afternoon. What did you wish to speak to me about?
The chasers.
And at that moment, the servants come in with kind of their service there. There's hot tea, there's cold water, iced water, there is wine.
I just merely stop and I don't say anything else. I'm waiting until they leave.
He kind of watches, not glaring at them because he didn't ask for this to be brought in, but he waits patiently while they lay everything out. There's even a plate of little pastries for breakfast, some cold meats in case someone feels that way too. And then he nods to them, they nod back, they out the door, and then you're left alone again. Are you sure you won't have something to eat?
I'm sure.
All right. It does smell really, really good, and you really haven't eaten in like a day, by the way.
I know.
I
know.
Just saying.
I know.
Okay. So
I'd rather do it with the rest of the party. I think they deserve it. You know?
And he pours himself a cup of tea and says, "You were saying something about the chasers."
So before we left, I tried to get in contact with you, but my unknown benefactor that you know about, the little ploy that you set up with the partnership in the red market seemed to work against them. At least they're looking into it, but it didn't work for the chasers. Grinder, I think he spotted a lie pretty easily, and
He's a canny one, I'll give him that.
and he's definitely done something. I don't know what, but he's threatened that I get some new information from you within next day, which has already been a day, so they're probably going to be looking for me very soon. We need something that will work on Grinder, because I'm worried that they'll actually try something, and we're already missing a party member.
Yes, unfortunately, I was called away on business and I could not receive you. I was notified you had arrived, but unfortunately, I was out of the city. You say you're missing a party member.
Yeah, Everest, the outsider. The one
Yes, the one with the accent,
Yeah.
of course. And yes, he makes quite an impression. I wonder. There was apparently a fairly large fire that broke out in an area of Gelspar the night before, early yesterday morning. And I wonder if that had anything to do with your missing compatriot. I can put out my feelers, but at this level, it will take time to filter down to Gelspar, so I'm not sure how much help I will be, and if the window of time is limited. But there has been, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. There's been no, assuming the chasers may have him, there's been no demand for ransom or anything else.
sorry, I was hoping you may know something, being well connected as you are.
Well, my point is, if Grinder did take your friend, the obvious method would be to extort you into coming to a position where they could capture all of you, or continue to apply pressure to you to try and get information from me.
We tried
But
to
you see, you have not received such a missive. You have not received, basically, we have your friend, etc., right?
Yeah, there wasn't anything like that, but he did say that he did threaten quite strongly. Yeah, his words were like he's already done something, and I assumed that it may have been Everest.
It would, the simplest measure would be that he has taken a step against your friend, especially if he could have gotten him into a position of weakness. That remains to be seen. I can put the word out discreetly, but like I said, it will take time.
I'd rather you not.
It's more in the celestial quarter, not down below.
I mean, like, if they know that you're looking for Everest, then probably puts you in a bit of a weird position.
Right. But as for something that will keep Grinder off your back for a while,
yeah, I need some. That's definitely what I need, because they have even threatened my my home.
Oh, well, we can't have that now, can we? When you come back this afternoon, I will avail certain contacts I know of, and I'll have to smooth this over with the order later, but I will see if there are any pending actions against the chasers that we can perhaps forewarn them that will prove your bona fides yet not damage order operations in Gelspar too much. I should be able to have something by the time you return with the steel. Let's make that late afternoon, because I like to see Hob waiting for something for once. I think he'll be very interested when I tell him that you have returned. And a little bit of a smile creeps across his face and is gone just as soon as it arrives. And B, it may take time for me to come up with a suitable bit of information to dangle in front of Grinder to ensure that you are in fact working for him and not for me. Does that sound reasonable?
Yep, I'm happy with that. I have a personal inquiry, though, if that's okay with you. Another personal one, I guess.
Well, you can always ask.
The old Gelspar crystal, what exactly are you going to do with it? It's still technically active, a bit low power, but...
That is an excellent question, Laureate. For now, it is being kept safe. He kind of sits on the table next to you. Truth be told, I hadn't quite decided. Did you have a thought as to its disposition?
I mean, personally, for my academic background, I study these. I always enjoy having access to them and doing experiments on them. If you'd allow me to do that, that would be great. But I was just wondering if you had any plans for it.
I can't. That is an interesting idea. And indeed, I would even help finance and fund your research. As of course you are probably well aware, given the...
But just promise the Academy won't probably like that idea.
What the Academy doesn't know won't hurt them now, does it?
Yes, it's just my research
Perhaps you need to think about my offer as well. I cannot give you an answer right now. I need to consider what uses what other Gelspar crystal has. However, your offer certainly ranks high upon that list. If I do not need it for anything more pressing, I would be very intrigued to have you research the crystal independently, completely funded by me, to see what you can find out. In particular, what I'm most interested in, or one of the things I'm most interested in, is are you able to track the other slivers if they haven't been altered or destroyed, if someone is still using them? Can you track those crystals to find out who has them using the base crystal as your marker? But I am sure you have other experiments. At some point, I would love to actually see your laboratory, if you would be so kind to permit me.
Oh, I don't have a laboratory, only. So how could I afford something like that?
Make me a fast talk.
Yeah, that would definitely be a fast talk. 100%. Yes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you felt like little sweat. Do you think you pulled it off?
Yeah, I think I might have pulled that off. Thank God. I can't let anyone know. You know why, John? Yeah, you remember the notes I gave you?
I know exactly why.
Okay.
Yeah, and that answer, you thought maybe a little too quick. We're like, no, calm down. It's okay. And you're pretty sure you pulled it off. It's all good. Like he knows nothing. It's all fine. Yep. Yeah. It was like, oh, that's a pity. Perhaps you'd allow me to, when you are ready to resume your experiments, to set you up with a proper space. If you're going to be examining the crystal, then of course you need somewhere to do so.
And like, I'm sure you'd want someone who's an expert at this. If the academy doesn't want me, I need some kind of.
Well, I already have someone who's an expert on Gelspark crystals in general, and that's you.
Oh, I'm honored.
Laureate, think about it. Well, you've done things with crystals that no one else has. You've pushed the limits of research farther than anyone at the Hidebound Academy is willing to at least either do or admit that they've done. I believe the crystals are the key to reclaiming Axia. And someone like you who is willing to push beyond the stuffy limits of academic research to forge into new realms with these crystals is exactly the person I'm looking for to take us further forward. But I don't want an answer right now. I want you to think about what I am asking of you. I know that the academy is very important to you as well, and this would be taking you down a different path. Because you're right, I am sure the academics over there would be most put out if they were to ever find out that you were working privately for me.
It's just that I would like my research to go to everyone and not just the council and the academy.
You misunderstand. I'm merely asking for a first look, of course. I agree. This knowledge should be disseminated.
All right. I'll give it a think, and I'll let you know in the future. You can just get me that information that I can send off to Grinder.
As I said, should have it this afternoon.
All right. And I stand up and I put out my hand and say, thank you very much.
And he shakes it. You will, of course, join. You and your companions will join Hob and myself for a late lunch to hand over the steel. I look forward to seeing you, shall we say, let's say about 4 this afternoon.
Probably best to make it 5. I think we had a long travel, and we've been up all night, so probably may need a little bit of extra rest.
Of course. The success of your mission is, of course, paramount, but not at the cost of your health. I look forward to seeing you later today.
Thank you.
Escorts you back out. Talon is waiting in the outer courtyard.
So I give him like I go up to him and just say, I guess this is where we part ways? Or are you sticking around with us?
Not so much. Until the package is in my employer's possession. I'm at the very least escorting you back to the Veneer household.
All right.
If they did make a move on your friend, there's no reason to assume they would not make a move on you as well. And I'm going to make sure that does not happen.
You overheard
Shall
that?
we? I have ears in the city as well. A fire in Gelspark. Let's just say the whispers spread almost as fast as the smoke does.
All right, let's head back.
And again, coming from the upper echelons of the merchant quarters, even down to Veneer's level, is fairly uneventful. Streets are more crowded now since it's going on not quite mid-morning, but certainly not early morning as it was before. So the bustle is starting to happen. People moving through the streets, shopkeepers calling out, things like that. So you are at the Veneer. The whole thing there and back took about an hour and a half-ish, let's say. But you're back now, and you're really starting to feel fatigued. It's really starting to get.
Yeah.
You're able to keep it together during the meeting.
I'm sure everyone else is like crashed. So.
Yeah, it wouldn't be. Although you suspect Mama might be eating before her nap. But it depends on whether you want to go to the dining room and find out, or head right to your quarters.
I'll probably just head straight to my quarters because I assume everyone's probably crashed.
Yep.
And I'll ask a servant just to bring me some food.
Of course. They do so. Did you wish a bath as well?
Yeah, that'd be great as well. Thank you.
Okay. So draw the bath, give you a robe to change into, take the filthy clothes away, The bath is heavenly, the meal even more so. And yeah, by the time you are clean and fed, you're basically can barely keep your eyes open. So it's pretty much like right into bed.
Mhm.
Was everyone else sleeping at this point, or are some trying to stay awake, even though it's going to be difficult?
I'm basically going to have one of the servants waiting to see if my sister wants to talk to me, and with orders to go ahead and wake me up as soon as she does.
Yeah. By the time your bath is over and you are dressed, yeah, the servant returns saying, yes, your sister would like to see you.
Okay, I go do that.
So you get dressed again.
Actually, I asked the servant if my sister would indulge the meeting in the room, so I don't have to get dressed again.
I will go find out. And yeah, like literally 3 minutes later, like she was waiting for it, your sister comes in behind the servant. Oh, I'm pleased you are all right.
My apologies for asking you to be here. I just didn't want to.
Please, my dear, we've seen each other in various states of undress throughout our lives.
Yes, but I didn't want the rest of the estate to see me like that.
Well, there's no need to stand on formality on my account. So I trust you were successful. Or at least
Yes,
I hope you were successful.
yes, we were.
Okay.
I also brought back an extra ship that I am hopefully claiming in my name and Mama's, and there's some stuff that has to happen with possible stolen ships, but we're claiming it as salvage.
Well, this you said claiming it in both our name and Malma's. How is that about to work?
My name,
Yes.
rather than our name, because Mama may need, when she's registering it, may need someone with a little bit more respect behind them, but I don't want to link it directly to our family.
Yeah, I do, but your name kind of links it directly to us anyways.
Yes, but I'm currently, black sheep. Currently.
Well, that is true. I suppose it depends on what comes up on the registry.
Correct.
That's interesting. It depends on how long it's been out there. Well, I mean, right. Not only did you recover whatever you went out to recover, because I don't know if you told her.
I don't know if I did.
I don't think so. I think you kind of kept it rather hush-hush.
Yeah.
And to bring a ship back to boot is even better. So make an insight check for me, Savoy.
Insight. Nope. Nada. I know nothing. I am Jon Snow right now.
Well, that'd be a 20, but still.
I am really tired. I am not actually catching anything.
That's probably it. So
there's kind of that 500-yard glare, thing that you have after the con, since I basically spent an unusual amount of piloting a ship and looking for pirates and stuff. So I'm just like not quite there.
Right. It's like, well, you look exhausted.
Wow. Money.
We'll discuss later more of this.
Yes.
But you should rest now. I wish to see that you are all right with my own eyes.
Yes, I has there been any word on Alvarez?
That's why she failed her role. Yes. That is the other guy who's coming to tell you, as a matter of fact.
Oh.
He's back and he is here.
Is he all right?
He was pretty badly injured, but he made it back here under his own auspices. I did not question him as to what happened. I figured you probably want to do that in due time.
And
He came back 2 nights ago. Mm-hmm.
Just missed him. Okay.
So he'd been gone roughly like a day-ish, basically. So, and you guys went out like a day, did the fight, came back the day. So, yeah. I mean, I also looked around for him for a while too. So all that happened. He's been here like a day.
Just sort of miss each other. Barely.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, ish. I mean, you definitely left before he got back. That's for sure. You were gone for like a good, you were well on your trip out there before he returned to the.
Right. All right.
So
That's
yes,
good.
yeah.
Has he been relieving himself? Somewhat.
Mostly. What exactly do you know of him?
Not that much, other than he is an outlander. He was searching for an enemy who killed his entire monkish order. He is frequently stubborn to the point of a detriment. But he does have some very, very interesting skills. And he's often inconvenient, but sometimes right.
I find him refreshingly direct.
Most people do.
Well, from what I understand, some people find his directness to be more blunt and improper.
Well, from my point of view, I find it amusing, unless it's turned on me, and then depending. Otherwise, he knows most of the time when he's breaking the rules. That's my guess, but I don't know him that well.
Well, and he is a stranger in a strange land, which gives him, to a certain point, the benefit of the doubt.
To a point.
To a
So,
point.
I hope he has a very, very good explanation for him running out on us right before an mission he agreed to do.
Well, that is something for you to talk amongst yourselves about, obviously. So,
all right.
I would
Well,
hope you would have one. Yeah.
I'm pleased to know that he is back.
Yes, as I would hope you would be, but now it is early. You, my dear, you look like you're about to fall back into the tub. So let's get you to bed.
Yes.
Some rest. There's much to discuss with all of you when the time is right.
Don't let us sleep too late. I'm sure we're going to have.
I will give you at least to the early afternoon, so I give you at least a few hours.
All right.
So, all right. And yeah, pretty much she takes her leave, and you fall into the bed, and literally you're asleep almost before your head hits the pillow.
I am home.
Yes, and alive and in one piece, and everything is good. Laureate, you made it back. You're doing the same thing. And actually, Everest, since you pretty much tried to study yourself into unconsciousness, pretty much everyone's going to be asleep for a while. So, yes. Early afternoon arrives. Did anyone besides Savoy leave instructions as to when they should be woken up?
Probably I would have said 4 o'clock because I knew that 5 would be. I think that's probably fair.
Okay. Everest, did you leave any kind of word, or you're just going to sack out until?
Oh no, he blatantly, like, his face hit the desk. He didn't tell anybody anything. He was reading, and then all of a sudden it's like passed out.
Right.
So
at some point they're going to ask if you would actually maybe perhaps be more. Would you be more comfortable in your room, perhaps, sir? Kind of question.
He'd look at them, kind of side eye, and
after 10 years of sleeping on rocks, you really think this is so bad?
My apologies. Please carry on. At least you do the books in the desk and the fireplace.
Well, he
that's true. It's a comfy chair, at least, and the desk is not. You definitely slept on worse. That's true. That's very true.
And the thing is, what he would do is he would push the books just slightly away enough so that it's like all of a sudden he was interrupted out of his slumber for like a moment, and then comments, pushes the books a bit further, and then all of a sudden you hear.
I really hope there's like small bits of dribble on some of the books. It's just
No,
see,
not.
that is why he specifically pushed them, because he already got enough trouble.
Because let me tell you, that would not go over well.
I mean, there might be a puddle on the desk, but that the servants would have to clean up after.
It would take care of it. Yes, it's varnished for your protection. Anyways, all right. So the morning passes uneventfully because you're all sleeping and restfully. So let's see. About early afternoon, Savoy, there is a knock at your door. Let's see here. There's no real. I actually want to see if you'd actually be awake enough to wake up after like only like 5 or 6 hours of sleep. Maybe a willpower roll. That'll do.
Willpower.
Yeah, because you are sacked out.
Well, but I'm also like, is something trying to kill me? Yes.
Yeah. All right. Yes, it actually is because that knock kind of startles you awake, and for a second you're like, reach for perhaps a blade, but you realize like, wait, I'm home. It's all good. All right, no problem. But yes, you did wait. You did awaken. So I take it you're going to answer the door.
Oh yeah.
Okay. It's a servant saying, just wish to be awakened at this hour, so I hope this is suitable.
What time is it?
It is 1 p.m.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, still a little bleary, still a little grainy-eyed, but you feel much better. So,
if there's coffee in this world, I would like a lot of
there's the we're gonna call it the Axie equivalent. Yes, she actually her next question was, will you be taking your meal here or joining your sister for perhaps a late lunch in the dining hall?
I would like coffee while I'm dressing, and then I will join my sister.
Actually, that part she would wheel in with her because she knows what you want when you wake up.
Yes.
So that one's already here. Exactly. All right. Okay. So there we go. You get a cup of the life-giving nectar there and get dressed, and then head down for the hall, I trust.
All right. That's what I will do. I will dress as appropriate.
It's casual. You have nothing on the docket really that you know of. So yeah.
Yeah, that. I mean, if somebody drops by unexpectedly, like what lady
Makia?
Makia, she can just deal with my casual dress.
Well, yeah, an unannounced visit, of course. So.
All right.
And in the hall, looks like lunch was kind of over, but your sister waves you in and says, "Come on. Why don't I have a plate prepared for you?"
Okay. Yes, and food is sleep. Anybody who does conventions knows that.
Exactly. So it's a whenever, wherever. That's right.
So, I'll catch a nap later.
Mm-hmm. All right. Bring you a plate of it's like cold pheasant, greens, a vegetable, probably some sort of root vegetable thing. It's but simple. Standard fare.
Simple,
Well done.
effective, lots of coffee.
Yep. Keep the coffee coming. So no wine with lunch. You're gonna keep the coffee going.
Yeah. Today I'm gonna forego the wine.
All right.
Or tea or whatever. Something with this.
As I recall, you asked your sister to find out a bit of information, didn't you?
I did, but Jen can't remember bloody thing since the last time we played.
I'm pretty sure you had her track down, try to find out who had paid the impound fees for Mama's ship.
Oh, yeah, on Mama's ship, and where is the ship now?
Yep, exactly. So she lets you get eating first. It's rude to converse while dining. But she noticed there's a slip of paper near her place setting. There's a bit of folded bit of paper. And she seems inordinately pleased with herself. So.
All right. It's just us, or casual. What's up?
Yep. Well, remember that task you gave to me before you left on your little errand?
The request I made. I would never actually task you with anything.
Well, that is true. I was pleased I did find out at least one part of it. And she slides the paper across. And you open it up and it says, the Capstan Shipping Company. That is who paid for the impound fees for your companion's ship. Capstan is a shell company, and tracing it back, but of course I know because of who I am. Basically, it was on Lady Machia's behest.
Oh, why am I not surprised?
Indeed. She seems to have taken quite a little shine to you and your little band of friends, my dear, which I have to admit raises some suspicions of my own as to why. You can ill afford to be entangled in any of her overarching schemes for Adriel or the Celestial Plateau or any of the merchants that she has going on. At the same time, it behooves us to know what she's doing in case we need to take a stand to stop it.
Yes,
Or
well,
even sidetrack it.
even you have already told me that I'm wrapped into it now. You were trying to keep me out of it. I'm in it. On my own pulse.
And since returning would be as difficult as continuing to go over, you may as well see, within reason, and certainly with an eye toward your safety, how far you can take this. Because with misgivings, by the way, that I say that. Lady Machia is not to be trifled with. But you are in the best position to do so.
Yes. Yes, I am. All right.
I don't know what she's going to want for that, but I imagine the price will not be low. I could not find where she has it. Capstan has warehouses all over the city. It could be one of them, although it'd be rather foolish to keep it so conveniently. But who knows? Maybe she would consider that underneath, our noses might be the simplest place. Of course.
I suspect it'll be a carrot to dangle in front of Mama, asking for favors and such. But with us returning with a ship that perhaps we can have as our own, that might lessen that carrot a bit.
It really depends on how attached your captain is to her particular vessel. I know that I'm just aware of the bonds. Some of our merchant captains would rather go on land for the rest of their lives than leave their airship that they consider to be theirs.
I don't believe
that's a question for hers.
That is a question for Mama, but I don't believe that is quite where she is. She wants to fly, and she enjoys the family's hospitality, and she's willing to work with me. I will talk to her about this. We'll see where it goes. But that is
at your leisure. It's up to you. I would assume you'd probably want to talk to Everest more quickly to get his story, but it doesn't go anywhere.
When everyone is awake, I don't think we want him to explain it to us more than once.
Probably not.
He probably doesn't want to explain it more than once. If we can get him to explain it at all.
Indeed. It may be that, he may consider to be none of your business, which technically it is not, except for him running out on you.
That is true. It is none of my business, but it also means whether or not, if we have to sever our relationship. Because if
he's going to go, running off at the drop of a hat, yes, every time someone delivers a message to him, that would be inconvenient at best.
Yes.
All right. Well, that was my bit of news, other than Everest, of course, back to evening. Morning. I figured this could wait until you were more rested.
Yes, but and I appreciate that very much, and I appreciate that you have done it. I am quite pleased.
It was good to twitch the strands of the web, shall we say, in Adriel. I was gratified I hadn't quite lost the touch.
Yeah. So the question now will become, when is it going to echo back to the lady that you have been twitching said strings?
Well, we were discreet. I mean, eventually it will filter back to her, but it's all part and parcel of playing the game. I don't think, sooner or later, the only thing I think she may be a bit perturbed as I stole her thunder if she wished to reveal it to you and Mama personally.
Huh?
But if she perhaps does not know, it does not reach her ear, which again is unlikely, then perhaps you two acting with a bit of surprise, if she does wish to spring it on you, might be a good idea. If I can keep that corridor, that channel of information to her household open, it would be a good thing. So we shall see. We shall see.
Yes. At this point,
If I get her glare, then obviously she will have known that that conduit was open, and probably by this time would have been closed. But
yes.
okay.
All right. Well done. Is there anything else you need from me in right now?
No, not that I can think of. But I would extend the same request of, is there anything you need from me at this point?
My gratitude to you for hosting my friends.
As I said, life is certainly more interesting with you around, dear sister. This has been an absolutely perfect indicator of that.
Oh yes, I fought bears that could bring back their cubs with a roar, and antlered creatures that looked like deer that could reflect magic back to us. That was difficult. Oh, and pirates.
And pirates, indeed.
Yes, sky pirates.
If I hadn't seen you here drinking coffee and nothing but coffee, I would have suggested you might be in your cups. However, we do know of the strange creatures that inhabit our world.
That is probably something I need to do with our family historian, is have a conversation with them about what I recently have seen.
Indeed.
And get some sketches for the books.
And things seem to be getting stranger all the time. It is something we need to be watchful for in the future.
Yes, that is unfortunately true. Okay, if you will excuse me, I think I will nap in my chair for a little bit more hours, a couple more hours, until the rest get up. As soon as the rest, I will let the servants know as soon as the rest are up, I should be,
They let you know that the one called Laureate left word to be roused at 4.
4, all right.
The one in Everest, he thinks is still sleeping in the library.
He is not damaging the books, is he?
We are endeavoring to prevent that from happening as much as possible. He has been very respectful of them. Of the desk surface, maybe a little bit of another battle, but it wipes up easily.
The surface can be cleaned, and the books are far more valuable, and we have already had a discussion about it. And if he cannot respect the books, he will not be allowed back in the library.
Which he seems to have taken to heart.
Good.
Mistress.
Good. Like I said, I think sometimes he just likes to tweak the nose of people around him to a point, and then he knows when to show when things are actually important.
Indeed. As servant not really knowing what to say to that. I was like, yeah, okay. All right.
And Mama has a couple of things that she'll need to do. I suspect she will be in and out, and she will want various baths and food.
She has already had both in copious quantities. This is your sister talking. It's kind of like walking you back to your room.
Yeah.
I mean, the woman is a formidable trencher person. Let's just leave it at that.
Yes.
And she had a bath before and after her meal. And the, quote, finest dress in the house laid out for her. She's quite amusing.
No, she wanted the finest dress laid out, or she...
It was my pleasure to do so.
Oh, dear.
It was last season's fashion. I really had no use for it.
Yes.
She will look quite splendid in it. Of course, it needs to be modified as she is several inches taller than I am.
She's also going to split up the front as well. The front of the skirt.
As I said, I have no more use for it. It is fine. Now, keep in mind, this is like, easily could be a dress that's worth about 100 gold pieces, if not more. This is not your 2 silver shirt that you buy down on the docks or anything.
I know, but often what happens with that last season's clothing often ends in pillows and stuff like that. So
Exactly. So, meh.
Oh,
Yeah.
our privilege is showing.
Well, as I said, she is amusing in a good way.
You know what else
Her-
is showing? A web DM raid of 16 people.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, and also an Asterisk House
Welcome.
did us a Twitch Prime sub.
Oh, thank you, Asterisk. Thank you very much. Welcome, WebDM. Welcome, Raiders. This is Arvin Elrond's channel. We are playing Emberwind by Nomnivore Games with Brahms Balrathian, Jennifer Brozek, and Saad. I am John Helfers, GM. Hope you can stick around and watch for a while. We are currently involved in some city shenanigans in the floating city of Adriel. And without further ado, I'm going to get back into it real quick. But welcome one and all. And WebDM, thank you very much for the raid. Moving on. So yes. All right. In that case, unless anything else has anything to do, time is going to pass until 4 p.m. where Laureate, you are awakened by a soft knock at your door.
So I'll get up very slowly because even though it's only been 5 hours of sleep, so I'm still pretty buggered, and I'll go and open the door.
Yep.
The time.
It's a servant saying you wish to be woken at this time.
Thank you. If you can get me if you remember the previous attire that you made for me, if you can bring me that'd be great. Thank you.
We already have an outfit laid out for you.
Oh. I look around. Oh, I forgot. They're really good here.
Well, she has it actually over her arm. She would not deign to come into your room until
Yeah.
you are awake to receive it. Yes. Yeah, but they are good. Exactly.
Thank you. If you could please notify the rest of the group that we'll be seeing Maddox at 5 o'clock. So if they need to sleep, you should probably wake them up.
Oh, I will let Mr. Savoy know immediately. So yes, I think that preparation would be in order, and if you by your leave.
Of course.
Off like a shot. Savoy. If you're
Yes.
napping, you're going to be woken by a knock on your door.
Well, yes, I was expecting it. And so open the door, try and pretend like I wasn't just fooling with my...
Servant says, your pardon, mistress, but one of your companions, Laureate, said that you have an engagement at the Baron Maddox's house in approximately 1 hour?
Oh, 1 hour.
Well, technically, now that you can look at the wristwatch, but technically probably more like 55 minutes.
Wait, how long does it take us to get there?
Like
a
30.
while, like good 20, 30 minutes, yeah, especially if the evening crush is going on. Yeah, it's going to be a bit.
All right, super fast change. Just like get my various servants in here.
Yep.
Do
And
something
zip.
that's appropriate
need-
for a fucking baron.
This game needs like magical girl transformation using hearth crystals.
It does, because well, now, when I made this character, I didn't know she was going to end up hosting you all and dressing you all and everything. But it just all right.
And one of them does ask when you're just about done prepared, shall we make sure the others are ready as well?
As well as you can. You know what? We've had lunch with him before. If Alvarez doesn't want to dress or Moma is, well, Moma, just let him be.
Indeed. All right. Let's see, Everest, you still have not left the library, have you?
He has not.
Face
There's
down
a
at the
knock.
table.
Yeah, there's a knock on that door as well. I'm not sure. If
Enter.
So, your pardon, sir, but apparently your party has been summoned to Baron Maddox's house this evening. As a matter of fact, in about 50 minutes. And I guess the invitation was extended to all of you.
50 minutes. That's hardly any amount of time. I didn't even know this was happening.
Well, if I may be so bold, it seemed rather last minute as well. So, shall we get you back to your room and perhaps get you suitably attired?
What's wrong with what I'm wearing?
Well, that's right. You did have the bath. You did change. So I mean, it's a little casual for dining with a merchant baron, but that's totally your call.
He's an outsider. He doesn't really care about any of
Exactly.
this.
That is true. That is true. If he's
This is
comfortable,
why I said
Oh,
if
good.
if various people don't want to do anymore, don't push them.
I assume he already tore the sleeves off the shirt anyways he was given. So
Yeah.
he's pretty much ready. Yep.
I'm pretty sure all he would end up doing at this point is proceeding to, just freshen up a bit and make sure he was presentable before meeting Maddox.
So it really would be like a 5-minute thing for him to get all set.
Really.
Okay.
By the way, John, is
Mhm.
Talon actually still around?
No.
Okay.
I mean, you don't. Okay, you don't know.
So nobody's
you
told me that
Yeah,
he is
but
off.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Right. So. And yeah, you have to talk to Laurent about that because she was the last one to see him.
Yeah, that is the thing I need to do because I have to find out if I'm taking the medal with us.
Right. All right. So everyone is up. Everyone is prepped. I don't know where you're meeting. I'll let you guys figure that out.
So I'm at like the front entrance inside the manor, and I'm just waiting there. And
Basically the courtyard, basically before
Yeah,
the
yeah,
main
yeah.
gate.
before the main
Yeah,
gate,
There's going to be
and I
some
just see
path.
Everest walk up, and I'm just like, what?
That's right. You didn't get the news.
No idea, and I'm just staring at him as he walks up, and I'm just not even saying anything.
There he is. Mm-hmm.
You're back? You're here?
Do I look like I'm somewhere else?
Poor Laureate.
Oh.
Are you alright? Did the chasers do anything to you?
Perhaps we will discuss that in a little while.
I
When
want
we've
you to tell me
actually-
now, because I need to know right now.
In a manner of speaking, yes.
Shit. I knew it. What'd they do? Because you look fine. I mean, did they just...
He doesn't look fine. He doesn't look fine.
Oh
He's
yeah.
still not.
Oh yeah, are you still wrapped? Would you be revealing all that probably? Because you'd see it on the
Oh, it'd be evident on his
Yeah.
face and everything. You'd be able to see that he looks
pretty
like
haggard.
Okay, yeah. So
pretty.
so you definitely see
I
the
wouldn't
first thing
call
you
him- I
see.
wouldn't call him hammered shit, but he doesn't look well. Let's put it that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
So the first thing you see is I literally go up and just use all my healing magic to heal you. So you see all those wounds just close up. You'd feel a lot better
Well,
because
now you're
I assume they wouldn't have someone
yeah.
with arcane healing persuasion to help.
Well, yeah. I mean, out of combat, healing is just you lay on the hands and bam, it's pretty much done. So yeah, that does help you feel a lot better, Evers.
Well,
Okay.
You're gonna have to tell me exactly what happened. I need to know.
Now
Yes,
we
now
can wait.
while we're waiting.
It's a long story.
End up waiting that long. I'm moving fast.
Hmm.
In fact, I'm walking up going, Everett. Welcome
Hi,
back.
Mother.
Hello, son.
So, I was just regaling Laureate here with my escapades. I was hoping to wait a little bit longer, because apparently we're all going for dinner, which I had no idea about.
Yeah, I just found out as well. Laureate, am I bringing the package with me?
Yes.
Okay. I basically snapped a servant and they bring stuff
Mhm.
that is all wrapped up.
Then meanwhile, Mama makes her entrance. I'm dressed for dinner, and she certainly is.
Oh, Mama.
Delightful midnight blue satin affair that she is, of course, mummified.
Yeah. She's still got the bit of armor on, mix of armor and dress, and the battle axe behind.
Not so, or the sorry, no, it's a
giant
mace.
mace. It's a mace.
Yeah.
It's a mace.
It's the mace she has not so subtly
right.
hidden. Yeah, she's ready to go.
You look wonderful.
Oh, your sister was so kind to generously give this to me to wear tonight. It's,
she's giving it to
merchant dinners in one week. A girl could only be so lucky.
Yes, well, we're going to be fashionably late, so we should probably start moving. I suspect the conversation with you, Alvarez, will take a much longer time than we have.
We'll just do it while we're walking. I need the details as we get there.
Well,
actually, your sister has arranged for a carriage, given that time is that pressing.
Oh, thank goodness for gracious sisters.
Mm-hmm. You will only be maybe a smidge late instead of fashionably or quite insultingly late. Let's put it that way.
And in fact, that means that Alvarez can tell us, because we're going to be sitting in a carriage.
I assume also Talon was probably waiting out the front of the gate.
You are correct.
Yeah.
Yes, he is. Yep.
Oh,
yeah. Not delivered yet, milady. But we're getting closer. I will avail myself of a seat on the back, keeping out for ruffians and ne'er-do-wells in the lower merchant quarter.
Appreciate that, Talon.
Says that. Well, my job is to see you safely there and back.
Well,
I trust you have it.
Of course.
Then perhaps we should be on our way. As you know, those merchant barons don't like to be kept waiting all that long.
And while we're on the way, you will tell me everything. So
Laureate's very intense about this whole thing.
She totally is. And basically, I'm going to sit across from Alvarez, and I'm just going to cross my arms, and I'm going to listen.
So you're all in the carriage. It takes off down the street, and I guess, Everest, the floor is yours, should you choose to avail yourself of it.
So we sit in the carriage, and he's sitting there, and you see him, and he mops a hand over his face to just kind of focus himself a little.
Well, it was a eventful time. I was not sitting idly by choice, mind you. I was captured, tortured, interrogated, in a manner of speaking.
Bye.
I'm guessing it was Grinder.
Well, yes and no.
What do you mean, yes and no?
Oh, Grinder was there, most assuredly. But someone else, someone far, far more dangerous than Grinder.
Your nemesis?
You see a look on his face. He kind of gets that 500-yard stare going on, where it's his eyes are kind of glassed over, and he's kind of reliving the memory in his head for a second, and then he snaps back to it.
Yes, she was there. And you can't even imagine how absolutely, ridiculously powerful she's become. We're all in a very, very we're all in a very big heap of trouble.
What do you mean?
Someone with her ability makes any normal mage, any normal person who's mastered a lifetime of study and everything that goes along with that, she has about 10 times that amount of power.
What do you mean?
Well, to put it simply, when she killed my order, she did something. Something that ripped their souls from their bodies. In so doing, she transferred their power to hers. And now this one being in all of Adriel has an enormous amount of destructive power that we will have to deal with sooner or later. And I say we simply because I cannot even fathom how a single individual, let alone even us, 4 of us rather, can even hope to deal with it. I guess 5 if we include this bozo who's ever sitting here.
He's sitting on the
He's
outside.
not in the carriage. He's outside.
Oh, he's outside?
Yeah, he's
Okay.
outside. The bozo who's sitting outside the carriage. His name's Talon. He
He's
is
the
a
one that
mercenary.
helped us do our job that we were supposed to do with you. But yeah, you got captured. And he was surprisingly helpful.
Well, I'm glad he was able to, attain what needed to be received by Maddox. But this information is something that is far more pressing.
Is she working on her own, or does she have noble backing?
Is she working with the chasers? Like, are they?
Oh, it most assuredly sounded like they weren't working against one another. I will tell you that much.
We already know the chasers have links into the nobility and to the merchants.
So you can be rest assured that this goes a lot higher than we were I was initially led to believe. The problem is that this person has, again, like I said, too much power for one person. And in so doing, we have to deal with her in a timely manner. We may have other things that we need to attest to in the given interim, but we can't allow her to run around unfettered for too long.
I have a question for you. Did this person tell you about when you were captured? Did they talk to you about killing of children?
Nothing of that nature, but I wouldn't put it past her if she did kill some.
We before we left, we tried to find you, spend as much time as we could before we had to go and do the job, and we came across a place in Gelspar that was just a family that was killed horrifically, let's just say, including the children. And I found this here, and I pull out the weird little stone.
And John, does he recognize what
Not
that
really.
is?
Doesn't look familiar to you.
Okay.
You know, I'll
It's a
hand
weird
it
rock.
to you.
Never seen it before. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll hand it to you. Say, have you seen anything like this? Like perhaps maybe something left by her. We're not sure really.
It's possible. Her magic is not unlike something I've ever dealt with myself. It's not the type of magic that I would use. Now, I've been trying to study this. Your sister has been very kind, Savoy, to provide me with a book regarding the matter. This type of magic that exists now applies to herself. This soul-stealing magic. However, I haven't been able to decipher it at this time. With all the wounds I've suffered and the stress that I've been under because of recovery, it's just been far too difficult.
One, why did she take you? And 2, why did she let you go?
I suspect she took me because she knew I was looking for her. You have to understand, this is a sick game for her. This is something she was looking to, maybe, it's been 10 years that I've been searching. Long and hard for this rival of mine. And now she has the backing of powerful allies. So, at this point, she's all but laughing at me. Now, in terms of quote unquote letting me go, that was less of a accident, more of a happy miracle, if you would. So while I was sitting there, bound to a chair with my fingers strapped to the bottom of the chair so I wouldn't be able to do anything, the chair was bolted to the ground and I could not move. An individual, I briefly caught a name named Grix from some chaser outside the door who said it too loudly, had managed to get me out of there. For some reason, I have no idea why he did what he did. Unfortunately, he fell while trying to cover my escape. But I know very little other than that.
He fell.
You sure that he fell, or this isn't some kind of trick?
It's possible he fell. I am not certain whether or not he's totally fallen. I was slightly a little bit pressed with all the other chasers coming after me to take close notice.
Brahms, check your Zoom chat.
And all of the other fire and everything that was going on around me
Fire.
at the time. Yeah, you know, we accidentally set a small fire, just a little blaze.
All right. So I spoke with Maddox earlier, and he said that there was a small fire. He said it took out nearly a block of buildings in
Small
Gelspar.
fire.
So
Like I
either
said,
you have another ally, or this is another trick of what was her name again?
Ixis.
Ixis.
Well, I don't think Grix was on their side with everything that he'd managed to do. So, I mean, and he was the one who helped me to get out. And also, we set the blaze, yes, but we also tried to, the blaze was started as a distraction. Apparently it was too good of a distraction. But in terms of him being an ally of Ixis, I highly doubt that.
So then she has an enemy beyond you.
If beyond me, if he is not dead. But again, as far as my knowledge, I saw him fall. He was on fire. There was a whole bunch of fire around me, as well as a whole bunch of chasers chasing me.
As long as he didn't literally fall off Gelspar.
Oh no, he was most assuredly on Gelspar.
Alright.
I don't know. Sounds like sounds planned to me.
A little
Like,
bit.
Chase is just up and letting you go. I mean, like, they would just, usually they'd just straight up kill you.
Oh, this wasn't. I don't think this was a plan. I don't think this was a planned escape. I mean, I understand being paranoid, believe me. 10 years of being on your own searching for an enemy that is gone away, that you have no idea could be stalking you every 5 seconds. I have a slight idea of what paranoia is, but I don't think this was that case.
What did he tell you when he came to help you?
Basically, I'm a friend. Do you want to get out of here? There wasn't much other than that. There was very little exchange, other than, you know, be quiet, do as I do, and me saying I'm an expert at everything, which, you know, clearly I am.
Well,
We're gonna have to look into this. See if
A lot.
Maddox might know something.
Well, that is why I was kind of hoping we would wait, so I wouldn't have to repeat myself.
Well, we can just ask him briefly. I'm sure he'd have some information, maybe, this person. But I have to apologize that I have a feeling it may have been my fault that you were captured.
I don't know about that. I very much think it was my own fault.
well, why do you think that, Laureate?
Well, remember when I headed out to do an errand, and
Yes.
while I was coming back, Grinder basically flat out threatened that he was going to do something, and Everest was gone, and we focused more on a mission than trying to help our friend. Kind of feel like it's our responsibility. Perhaps we should have looked for you more.
No, frankly, I don't think there was more you could have done.
Well, at this point, that particular conversation has to wait because there's going to be more to it. And with both of you. But for now, we will need to have a conversation with Maddox, give his goods, don't give him too much information.
Well, I think he should know about this other person.
I do. Yes.
If she's as powerful as you claim she is, then she could actually... This could be a problem for Adriel combined.
Well, you have to remember, when we met Maddox, the Chasers were working for him. And now they're not. Or perhaps they're not. There is a lot of moving pieces, and a lot of people are not what they say they are. So I just think it's time to be a little circumspect. Listen to the questions asked, answer them. Do not give more than you need to.
I don't think Maddox had anything to do with it, and...
I would hope that he wouldn't, but what if he is backing her?
I mean, like, yeah, it's pretty much possible. Like, so is every other high-ranking member of the council and various merchant guilds.
So if Lady Makia is not backing Ixus, this might be a very, very interesting bit of information to throw her way.
But what if she is?
But if she is, then I think a lot of bad things are coming down the line. That woman is extremely powerful and extremely connected. If she has the ally of someone with the magical ability of 10 experienced mages, and the willingness to do what they did to you and to your order, I foresee an awful lot of bad things coming down the line.
One thing you do need to understand about Ixis is that life and death have no sacredness to her anymore. With being able to rip the souls from a human body, they won't find peace. Nothing but torture and pain, and death is not a release.
And then the question becomes, does Ixis have the ability to take someone's soul and put it into another person's body and allow them to live another life? Immortality.
Again, not something I can answer at this time.
The reason I ask is I have to think, what does Lady Makia want? Of all the things that she has, the ability to live and rule forever would be right at the top. She likes to play, and I would really hate to see the two of them linked together. I would rather see them enemies.
In my knowledge of Maddox, I don't think he'd want immortality. I don't think he's striving for that.
Well, ambition knows no bounds. Keep that in mind.
Well, please just keep in mind while we're speaking with Maddox to listen to the actual questions asked and answer those. And think of your own questions to ask based on what you know. We need to close.
We do. Given this political maneuvering that's going on around us, we definitely have our backs up against the wall.
I think our first goal is to get rid of the chasers. At least get them off our tail, or have someone else deal with them.
Well, that ship was theirs. They want it back.
I mean, like, that would probably be the best way to get them off our back, is just give them back their ship.
Yes.
We'd have to probably... I mean, like, Hob would probably want his ship back as well.
Well, Hob said that we would pay for it by doing this particular mission. And when we hand it over...
He doesn't look like the type, that's all. We'll wait and see. Let's see what Maddox has to say.
I would like to think that he would keep his word. And yes, I know, Mama, you agreed to do it. Actually, did she tell us that?
I don't think she's told. Did she?
Oh, no, I yelled at her about it.
Yeah.
I know Mama owes Hobbs another favor, but if this clears our debt with him, then we can give the Chaser their ship back, and then we have the ship that Mama will be registering. That is, I think, the best outcome right now for the immediate. And then we have to figure out what we're going to do about Ixis.
And Everest, once everything's over and done with, you want me to do a full checkup? I can heal all the rest of the marks best I can. You still deserve that much.
Well, leave at least one as a reminder.
That seems like a good note to let you know that you have arrived at the Maddox estate.
Yes.
That pregnant pause there, and your coach driver raps down on the doors, announcing that you are here. So he pulls it around so you are able to alight into the yard before the gate, which stands open, ready to receive you. Talon climbs off the back as well. And he's also cleaned up and looks, fairly well for his age, for what the day he had as well. Cleaned up his armor, looks more spiffy than usual, showing not like he'd been battling bears and stags for a good, the day before. Let's put it that way.
Right.
So, and he ushers you forward. The job's nearly done. And the guards wait and also are waving you inside, basically, politely.
All right, so we head into the really fancy hall.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Dining
Okay,
area.
I take it the flying wedge of
Yeah.
of me with Mama in her dress and Alvarez with his tattoos and Talon and Laureate.
I just see it more like the right stuff, kind of. You guys are at the front wall, and Talon's coming behind you just to make sure no one tries anything at the last minute. So he's not really.
Yep.
Yeah, so there you go. So it's all striding forward, very into technically the lion's den, but not really.
No motion, looking damn good.
Very serious. Yes. Mama. Well, you can't stop Mama's ear-splitting grin as she's in her finery and everything, and the mace and all that. Yes. Yeah.
Finery.
Oh,
No, it's
And
actually
then does she? And then
She'll be wearing bits of her armor as well, so it'd be like armored
yeah, so you got like
finery.
a vambrace here and a pauldron there, and
Yeah.
she's like
Put a bit of the
chose to
breastplate
put
over
out
as well.
with
She's got to have that protection just in case.
Well, that's a bit much for the dress. She really wants to show off the dress, so she had to be very
Yeah.
careful what pieces she chose to accentuate it.
Yes.
But she does have both sleeves on, I'll tell you that right now. But the
Yeah.
breastplate would cover up the bodice, and she can't do that. I mean, come on. So yeah,
And
exactly. So
honestly,
yes, you all stride in, and Maddox is waiting for you, dressed in his typical black and silver. Hey, looks all of you up and down. Maybe you're not quite sure. Maybe pausing for like a quarter or a half second more on Malma. It was hard to tell because it was so quick. But welcome to my home again. Please let's adjourn to the dining hall. It leads you back into that hall, which looks even better now that the sun is starting to set, and bathing Adriel below the mansion in golden and reddish hues now. So there is once again a magnificent feast has been laid out. As before, and of course, Hob is there, and Talon goes to his appointed spot near his chair and just stands with his hands in front of him, just clasped. There's another bodyguard there, and Hob, when he sees you, almost looks like he's about to leap out of his chair, but manages to restrain himself. But you can tell he's very, very anxious to hear of the results of your mission. But Maddox wishes to eat first, and so
yes, and I will absolutely play the game of the inconsequential chat. I will talk about some of the newest fashions. And I've
you'll
learned
find Maddox quite skilled and knowledgeable about, by the way.
yes, and just things, anything but what Hobbs wants to know about.
And at the fashions, of course, Mama gets up and gives her dress a twirl, inviting compliments, which are graciously given as well. And she sits down, just beaming, literally. And Hob looks like he's about to just blast out of his chair into the air, but he manages to keep a civil tongue somehow, and drinks a lot of water and a little too much wine.
I let Maddox actually run because it's his show.
Yeah, he keeps it going, drawing it out, and sometimes he'll talk to technology, and Hob will think like he's leaning forward, about to talk about the Arlen Steel, and then he'll move on to something else. You definitely get the sense he is toying with the fixer. He's actually enjoying himself quite a bit. It's actually fairly obvious. But at long last, the meal is done. After dinner drinks, dessert has been portioned out. After dinner drinks are poured, and Maddox finally sets his glass down and says, well, after that delicious meal, I suppose we should finally get around to the reason I invited you all here. It's about bloody time, Hobbs says. Wow. And Maddox turns to him and says, well, Hob, I hope you have not availed yourself of my hospitality, only to be so churlish now. It's like, of course not, Lord Maddox. I just been very patient waiting for what we agreed upon, and I wish to know. I've held my tongue, and he gulps some more. He's not sure if he got water or wine. He doesn't really care. He just grabs the nearest glass, which you think might have been the one he used to wash his hands in after the last meal. You're not quite sure.
Oh dear.
I've been waiting. I've been very patient. We've been here longer than perhaps expected, and now I wish to know if they were successful in retrieving that particular thing we sent them out for.
And
So?
just to remind you that once this item has been transferred to you, that our debt to you has been removed.
Most of yours, he says with a sly glance at Malma. Other arrangements have been made on the side for certain things, but yes, your debt to me in this instance, the destruction of the Gilded Drake, will be wiped clean. There is the matter of the chaser ship itself. The Arlen, the package, takes care of the ship you lost on your watch.
Hmm.
That was the terms of our arrangement. I believe Lord Maddox here attested as he was there when the deal was struck. Arlen steel was worth 10 of those ships. However, Hob is nothing if not gracious. I am certainly more than willing, if you produced what I asked for, to overlook your wanton destruction of my property. So, I believe you have something to show us.
I actually look at Maddox first to see what he thinks, if he nod or whatever.
He does give it some thought and says, as I understood it, when we struck the bargain, those were the terms that I seem to recall. So, I have to give the point to Hob here.
Yes.
No
And
doubt
so-
there are other arrangements that can be made to take care of that ship, but let's deal with the here and now
Yes.
for tonight.
Whatever servant I handed the package off to, what he nodded to.
Yeah, did they pass it around to Hob?
Yeah, who literally, like, as soon as it gets even remotely close, reaches up and snatches it out of his hand. It's in a pouch or a something?
It's actually
It'd just be
it's-
wrapped up, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it'd be wrapped up and kind of. If it's like the ribbon, it would be fairly long and slender and wrapped in something soft.
Well, you could coil it and put it in a pouch if you wanted to. You
Yeah.
could wrap it in. You could wrap it around to make it kind of like not a spear, but a wobbly kind of rod. It's really up to you how you wanted to carry it in.
Coiled in a pouch would be fine,
Yeah,
but it'd be
I thought for more suspensefulness and make him, eat his plate. Yeah, he
Right.
fumbles with the catch, the
You
drawstring.
made
pulls
it
out.
a little bit tricky for him, so he has to kind of
a true knot, so it
Yeah.
wouldn't just accidentally break open.
just out of
Takes the
spite.
fork and pries it in there. Yeah, finally he just tears open the drawstring. It pulls it out and of course it uncurls as it's wont to do.
Yeah.
And he's really kind of almost awestruck at it. Like, oh, they bloody well did it. He kind of looks at you almost as if he can't believe you pulled it off. Like, first, well, actually, you guys didn't say how you got it back. It's,
No, we didn't.
right, but you got the crystal, and now this. Yeah, that's clear. And he offers it to Maddox if he wants to see it. Maddox takes a look. He doesn't reach out for it, though. Interestingly, he doesn't reach out to handle it or anything. It's like, well, Hob, you got what you wanted. So we'll make other arrangements to figure out what to do about the chasers. But for now, I think the evening's entertainment is concluded. No doubt you have somewhere to be. Yeah, he's already coiling it, stuffing it back in the pouch, and tying it, tucking it under. Yes. Thank you for a lovely evening, all of you. You'll be hearing from me soon. And he again glances at Malma. Some maybe quicker than others. And with that, he shoves his chair back, gets up, and without even a word to his guards who fall in behind him, Talon gives a brief nod at Savoy as they're leaving, and then the three are out the door.
Savoy will return it.
Well, I haven't seen Hob that gobsmacked since, well, never, to be quite honest. So you've done well.
You know who else is gobsmacked? Red Lear, because he's raided us. Woo!
Party of 30. Welcome, welcome. Hello, Red Lear.
Thank you, Red Lear.
Thank you so much. Yep. Welcome, everyone. We are playing the Skies of Axia. We have gone way beyond the written module and are running around the floating city of Adriel, getting into trouble, scrapes with local people, encountering potential dangers from characters past, and just having a good old time. Emberwind
From
is the
soul
flagship gate
suckers.
omnivore.
Sorry, go ahead.
That's all right. It's a realm of science fantasy, floating airships, and mysterious magic. We are joined by Saad, Jennifer Brozek, and Brahms Balrathian, who are our players tonight. We have a fourth who unfortunately could not be here, but she's here in spirit and in a very lovely dress. So welcome, everyone. Please, I hope you enjoy the stream. And I am John Helfers, your GM, Radio Johnny Panda, on Discord and other places. So we're just about coming to the end of this session. We're going to be here for about maybe another 5 or 10 minutes. So, but thank you, Red Lear, so much. Again, you are joined everyone's channel on Twitch. So, dinner was over, and yeah, Baron Maddox is a bit amused by the whole evening. He said, "Well, I haven't had a bit of sport like that in a long time, so I do thank you all for playing along. Hob is useful for what he does, but it's good to remind him of his place from time to time, and I think we did that admirably, despite the fact that he did get what he was coming for. I'm assuming there's a story behind the tale of how you managed to succeed where other parties have failed, but I think we'll probably let that go until another evening."
For now, yes.
First thing I want to say is, based on what I discussed earlier about Everest, as you can tell, he's right here, and he was, let's just say, he was actually captured by the chasers. And as you can tell, he escaped.
Yes, I see he did join us, and welcome back.
So you didn't have to,
Hope
don't have
you're-
to send out any feelers to get information on that.
Very well. I hope you're none the worse for wear with your most recent encounter with the chasers, sir.
I think that shows you
Nothing.
the intensity of the problem with the chasers that we're currently having.
Well, I mean, fallout from any mission is to be expected. If you're looking to hide behind my venerable self, there's only so much I can do. At some point, the chasers will need to be dealt with for certain, but we need to make sure of our position before we are to move against them. As you've seen before, an erroneous strike or one that is misinformed can be even worse than no strike at all. So I will keep doing what I can on this end, but unfortunately, I'm afraid you may have to bear up under it for a little while longer while certain pieces move into position.
Well, right now,
Yes.
the main public fight with the chasers is the fact that we have their ship, and we are
There is
considering
that, yes.
simply giving it back to them.
Well, I mean, that would certainly handle the physical portion of what they feel, or how they feel you have wronged them. The insult to their pride, so to speak, may be another matter. However, the ship probably would at least assist in alleviating some of their, shall we say, antipathy toward you. After all, palling around in that ship with a big white skull on its prow doesn't really do wonders for the chasers' morale, knowing that someone else has one of their larger vessels.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
We're so heavy.
If you wish to arrange the return, I can probably help facilitate that, if that is truly what you wish to do.
I think that's probably a good idea. What do you guys think?
Yes, I think it is a good idea.
All right, then.
I think
will-
arranging.
What?
I think arranging the return is a apt move. However, I don't think Grinder will easily be assuaged by such a gesture. I think the insult to his pride and my escape from his clutches will stick in his craw quite a little bit.
Well,
And Maddox nods at that and says, well, quite. The chasers do not suffer failure, well, at all, to to be quite honest. And this mark on Grinder's honor, so to speak, does certainly imply that he will be retaliating to avenge that.
But isn't all this a tax on us because we have the ship? And if we publicly bring back the ship to Grinder and say, this is yours, and attempt to save face towards him?
That is one bit, that you defeated the chasers and took their vessel. The fact that Everest was able to escape them once they had him is another incident that Grinder will most likely not forgive or forget very easily.
Well, that is a different.
I'm afraid so.
Well, it could be very easily rectified if you wanted to hand me over to him.
No, don't be daft.
But the man is pragmatic. I admire that. I mean, it's not what I would recommend either. But
Pragmatic.
it's the most direct route to ingratiating yourself with them, should you wish to do that.
No, you are our expert in dealing with that other issue.
Quite.
Maddox arches an eyebrow but says nothing.
Should we tell him about the extra person in power that they've got there?
That is the question.
I think we should just
We're
tell
all
him.
talking in circles, and I am most intrigued.
Yes, well, part of the problem is we're not.
You need a moment to discuss it amongst yourselves before you can make your decision. I'm happy to grant you the room.
We've already had this discussion.
Yeah, I think we just tell him.
And yet it seems there's a little bit of hesitancy on your part.
Well, it's something that I mean, like, based on what Everest has told us, it could be a problem for Adriel in the whole, and it's got to do with the chasers.
And the chasers were working for you.
Or at least whoever is controlling this person or is partnered with this person.
Laureate, let's hold that thought for a moment. It's true, I was under the impression the chasers were working for me. However, the chasers have always worked for whomever can grant them the most. Remember, the chasers were willing to sacrifice their own home base of Gelspar, which meant that whatever the people they were truly working for had promised them, it was something very large indeed. You don't willingly give up your base unless you're definitely getting something better in return. Your plans, your timely interruption of that, changed those plans, no doubt to the quite furious detriment of whomever had put them in motion. Therefore, you are certainly marked not only by the chasers for foiling that, and again, another mark of failure on their part, but also by whomever put those plans in motion to sever Gelspar from Adriel, and thwarting them as well. For those who have not been in town all that long, except for you, Lady Benir, you make enemies and influence people rather quickly, it seems. And Mama just grins and says, that's what we do.
Well,
however,
this is the group we seem to.
Do you have any idea who
my
might be
relationship with the chasers has been severed for now since this latest betrayal. I know I cannot trust them no matter how much coin I dangle in front of them. It is simply not feasible. Someone willing to offer that much, I am a powerful man. I will freely admit I'm not that powerful. They are certainly in someone else's pocket. But believe me, I am endeavoring to find out whom at this very moment. But
do you have any rough idea, perhaps, who may be?
Any one of the nobles in the Celestial Plateau are powerful enough to guarantee the chasers some sort of elevation in return for what they were planning to do to Gelspar. I am not there yet, so from Makia on down, any one of them could make a move in that direction. They have not only the resources on hand, but also the political acumen to make sure that it'd be very difficult to trace back to them.
Can I make an insight roll?
Sure. If anyone else wants to, feel free.
Let's see.
I'm already. See, Laureate already trusts Maddox, so it's would really.
Aha! Insight.
There you go.
All right. What am I getting at? Is he really?
He's very sincere. Certainly, he's very. You got the idea. It's kind of like, I never thought they'd eat. I never thought the leopards would eat my face. Said the person who voted for the leopards faces eating party. He thought he was very annoyed that the chasers chose to go back on the deal with him, and now he's severed his ties with them. And everything else he's spoken seems to have certainly the ring of truth, and he ought to know for sure as to how things are outlaying and who is behind it and everything. You just get nothing but he's thought it through, and this is what he has come up with.
Okay.
There's you can't get any sense of dissembling or that he's trying to mislead you at all. This is what he's come up with, and he's sharing it with you right now.
After a moment of pause, I look at Everest. I'm like, I think the floor is yours. Tell him what you believe he needs to know.
Very well, then. Are you prepared to sit down, Lord Maddox? This is going to be an interesting tale.
One moment. He summons more wine and makes sure everyone has drinks that they require, whether it's coffee or brandy or something more potent, including the fire wine or whatever I remember we talked about for you, Everest.
Yep, fire
once everyone is comfortable, then he motions to proceed, please.
Well, as you know, I was captured by the chasers, and I was held captive for about a day. Now, the main problem we were discussing, that nature, or that particular item at which I am an expert on, so to speak, would be my greatest enemy, which is, her name is Ixis. The reason why I stormed out of the hole, the first was. Oops.
John, was it the first time we'd lunched? I can't recall.
No, it was at Veneer's place, I think.
That was at Veneer's place for dinner.
No, that was at the Veneer.
Lady
Okay,
Maki was there, and that's when you got the message, and that's when you left.
Yes. Okay, so it wasn't in front of him.
It wasn't here.
Okay.
Correct.
I stormed out of a dinner party held by Lady Veneer, where Lady Maki was in attendance. I received a lock of hair, and it was clearly Ixis's. So I needed to ascertain her whereabouts, if you will. So I left on my own. Foolishly, perhaps, but something needed to be done. Suffice it to say, it didn't go well, and I was captured. And at this point, I was beaten pretty badly. And now they are working with, Ixis is working with Grinder and the Chasers. And Ixis is one thing you need to understand. She's completely mad. And she has more power than any other person in all of Adriel. In terms of raw power, she could easily wipe out 10 or 15 people without even blinking.
Magical power.
Well, of course.
Well, there is certain technologies I'm aware of that could be its equivalent, but sorry, I am distracting from the main conversation. So this person is here in the city now.
They are. Where, I cannot say at this current moment, but know that she has powerful allies. which means the chasers, which also mean, by extension, the nobles on the Celestial Plateau.
Hmm. Indeed.
So this
It's
woman.
it's a turbo.
Sorry, you can go.
Go ahead.
This Ixis person has some kind of unknown or very powerful arcane power, and seems to be, at least from what we were able to tell, based on our attempted search for where Everest went, has been using it to kill people in Gelspar. And when we were searching for Everest, came across a very gruesome, very gruesome murder of a family, including children. And this was left behind, and I kind of like toss it over to him, the black stone.
He catches it and looks at it. How do you know it was left behind and not just something they had found in the street?
Well, it was found in one of the corpses, I guess you could say that.
The question still stands, Laureate.
Well, that is true, but
You're drawing an inference that may not bear out to be
something you
truthful.
don't see every day. It's not a very common item.
Fair.
That.
I mean, I will confess you are right. I've not seen anything like this, but I don't know what, if anything, it does either.
Well, that's
So
what I'm going to be possibly trying to find out.
Hands it back to you. Yeah.
But if this person's going around murdering people in town, I mean, like, that's going to be a problem for everyone.
Well, it's more than just murdering people in town. Avra says that she can literally rip the souls out of bodies and subsume their power within her.
I assume that would include knowledge, which could be very detrimental to certain people, including yourself.
Well, if it's as you say, if she can do that, it's true. No one would be safe from such a person. I wouldn't expect that she would have. Well, why is she here?
Yes, I don't know.
That's something I think only
It's a good question.
Everest might have an idea, but we have no clue.
Well, she's always been drawn to power, whether or not it's political then in nature. I could not say. Maybe she
wants
has
to-
aspirations to rule.
Well, that is an interesting thought. Power amassed for power's sake only goes so far. But if she wishes to put this city under her thumb, I think she's going to find that a bit more difficult than she expected. However, if, as you say, she's allied with the Chasers, and the real key is whether she is known to the ones above the Chasers, or if the Chasers are, quote-unquote, keeping her to themselves for the time being. That is what we are not quite sure about, but needs to be found out as soon as possible. If the nobles are aware of her, and do plan to use them for their own ends, that could be, as you said, extremely dangerous for the entire city.
That's true. And Savoy brought up an interesting concept that I hadn't thought of before. What if, by extension, she could take a soul and transplant a soul to another vessel?
Assuming that's even possible. Which, look, I'll be the first to admit I am not up on everything magic can do in our lands. Assuming that's even possible, however, that power would literally make her one of the most sought-after spiritualists on this entire world.
Very true. Now, what if that power were to be used on, say, a noble in the Celestial Plateau that wanted to, I don't know, that would maybe be a bit aged, a bit older, maybe. I don't know, is, a sparring partner of Lady Savoy's. Not naming names.
It depends on how would you do the transfer and make it viable. If she would then appear as her own daughter? Someone who was sent away and now is returned to take over the family?
Very possible.
It is
The
all
question is it... It's all conjecture right now. This is all theory. However, interesting theory. Also terrifying theory.
I'm on the terrifying side of things.
It's already terrifying enough if this person's going around killing people.
No, and she's most assuredly quite insane. Just that goes without saying. However, again, she does have a purpose. That purpose was not revealed to me. But I suspect we will be seeing bits and pieces of it soon if we don't deal with her accordingly.
Have you noticed perhaps the guards have told you any kind of increase in the spike of killings around Adriel?
I don't keep that's a question for the military order. I don't really keep tabs on that kind of data.
So I look at Talon and I say Talon being a...
Talon's not there. He already left with Bob.
Okay, do you think Talon would know something like that?
The order themselves would keep those kind of records. I don't see how a mercenary, even one as supposedly resourceful as Mr. Talon there, would have any way of finding out that information.
Kind of looked like part of the military, but just assuming maybe he knows something.
He is a sellsword. Make no mistake about it. Just because he has pretty armor doesn't mean he won't work for coin. He does not really, at least as far as I'm aware, he does not follow any kind of higher power that I'm aware of, such as duty or honor or any kind of loyalty to our city. He fights for pay. This is good to keep that in mind.
So maybe something to have to look
Medics.
into.
Yes.
I have to ask a favor. A small favor, but a favor, and it would benefit you as well, I believe. I need you to take a look into someone. It has to do with my escape from the clutches of the chasers. There was an individual that helped me escape, who went by the name of Grix. What I would like... I know the name means nothing to you right now, but what I'm suggesting is perhaps you put out some feelers on the topic, and then maybe we could find out some further information.
Sure.
And
Again, if it's, this was the chaser, the chaser, he puts it in quotes, the chaser who rescued you, correct? If I'm following your story correctly.
That's correct. That is correct.
However, you also think he's dead.
It's very possible. I did not see him fall. However, there was a lot of fire and a lot of chasers running after me, so I didn't quite stick around to ask questions.
Indeed. And the problem is, if he did fall in Gelspar, then, he's probably already consigned to the void. But I can do what I can. You have a street name, and I could really use a description of him, physical description.
Which
you give.
Everest would give him. I was gonna say I can't remember.
I could tell you it all, but we don't really need to go into it.
Yeah, he just, as long as he can give him
brown hair, short brown hair, pretty big, and has a bit of bulk to him, and is wielding a two-handed sword, stuff like that.
All right. He says, I think we have enough to go on. All right. I will see what I can do, but it's going to be sketchy, especially in Gelspar. Names and appearances change like, well, the seasons. So, but I'll do what I can. What, you just want to know who he was or whom he worked for, something like that?
Along those lines, yes. I believe it could be beneficial. Look at it this way. The enemy of my enemy is my friend, so, as they say.
Indeed. Assuming it's not your enemy already.
Correct.
There's a possibility. All right, I will see what I can do. That one. That I can make no promises. However, my contacts will start near the fire that happened in Gelspar last night, and we will go from there.
And any increase in murders would be a good thing to look into. Might give us some clues to this, where this woman.
That may take a little
operating.
longer since I've stretched my resources at the order. And he gives
Whatever
Lori
you can do.
not a pointed look, but just the look that says, "Yeah, you can't go to bend that ear too much."
Just do what you can.
Don't I always?
Well, this has been a pleasant evening, and assuming
Almost.
you have nothing else that you need from us immediately.
My entertainment for the night is complete, so we all have our items to take care of. I will let me see you to the door.
Thank you. Basically, I give everybody the roundup. Let's go. I'm done. I'm tired.
Yeah.
I want to go home.
You'll see Laureate be like, "I'll be with you in a moment. Just gonna have a quick conversation." It's all right. Don't worry. Don't worry. It's just something I.
All right, Lori.
It keeps going. It just.
Yeah, but he gives you Laureate gives you his hand to lift up from the table, and as he does, you feel a slip of paper in his palm.
Okay. I grab it. Yeah.
Yep. All right. No, Laureate, I think our business for this evening is concluded. I wish to savor my little jape for Hobbs. All right, cat, stop that crazy thing. So you all walk out to the gate and past it, and the gate swings open to reveal an entire squad. And this could only be the military order of Adriel standing outside.
Oh,
Well, that's
crap.
interesting.
Yeah,
I don't have a
and-
problem with
I
them.
will just like give them way as soon they're going somewhere.
No, it looks like they're waiting for all of you, from what you can tell. And someone who has like lieutenant's sigil that you recognize on their shoulder, a woman steps forward and says, "Savoy Veneer, Laureate, and Everest, and Malma, you are all under arrest for possession of stolen property. Do not resist or there will be trouble." And Laureate, I'd like you to make a focus check, please.
Okay. Oh, man, natural one.
One of the
Critical.
men in the front row is the. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. That should be Everest. My mistake, not Laureate.
Aw.
Everest, please make a. Yeah, sorry I had to waste that one. Everest, please make a focus roll.
Oh no. Oh.
Ah.
Too bad.
Yeah, well, I'm going to give it to you anyways because it's important to the plot. One of the men in the front row is the person you knew as Grix, and he looks completely unharmed. And that is where we're going to stop the episode for the evening, I think.
Perfect.
Well played. Well played. Lots of great character interaction there. I really love the carriage conversation. That was and the dinner with the guys are really living it up on the noble's expense at this in this game, which is fantastic. I really like it.
Laureate doesn't really want to do this, but she's trying to not like get the most expensive everything. She's just trying to. Be
Well,
more
when you're dining with
conservative.
nobles, you know, it's when in Adriel,
Everyone just wants to keep giving her really expensive stuff.
So my question is,
I was gonna say
which thing is supposed to be stolen? Is it the chaser ship? Is
We
it
don't
the
know.
shipping bomb? Or is it the Arlen steel? We just handed
It's
over.
that thing that
I guess you'll have to
it's
find
that
out
thing
next
they
time.
shoved in it.
Yeah, that thing.
Yeah,
That
I was
thing.
gonna say it's the thing that they
Black Rock. Nope. You'll have to
MacGuffin.
find out. You'll have to find out next session. Oh,
I'm
there's
just like, really? Of all the things to happen. Really?
Oh my god. I hope it's not what I told John. Sorry, this is background stuff. And I wonder if it's that, because it's gonna be crazy if it's that.
Well,
Alrighty. Well,
so
there's so many things. It's hilarious because there were so many things that you could argue we have stolen.
You guys, yeah, pretty much. Here, there,
Half
and
of the
everywhere.
items that we have could be classified as stolen.
really?
Indeed.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
It depends on who you
Borrowed.
are.
From-
Borrowed.
From like
Long-term loan. Anyways, this has been a lot of fun, folks. I really appreciate it. Stream, I hope you enjoyed this. While there was a lot of dialogue, a lot of things were said, and I think actually the party has come together in a very interesting way. So I only wish Mama could have been here to participate, but hopefully we'll have her back next time. And it was fun, actually. Not Gryffindoring her. What's the word we use?
Jaegering?
Yeah, Jaegering her. That's it. So,
Gryffindoring,
anyways, we'll
I
start
love
at the
that.
other side now. Brahms, tell the folks on stream who you are, what you do, where they can find you.
Sure, I'm Brahms. You can find me here every other week doing the Emberwind thing. Very soon, hopefully in September, we will be starting up Lex Arcana, which is like, think Roman Empire and mystical creatures and all that sort of thing, and Rome Never Fell. And it will be a very, very good time. And hopefully Johnny Pittman will be DMing that also on Esper Genesis on this channel. He will be doing that, and that will hopefully be taking place in September after I have moved into my new location. And other than that, that's pretty much all I'll be doing for the next month or so, and hopefully more RP later after I get settled.
All right, sounds like a plan. Thank you very much. Next is Jennifer Brozek.
Yeah.
Jennifer, tell people who you are, what you do, and where people can find you.
Jennifer Brozek, author, editor, media tie-in writer. 3 books out in the last 4 months. Shadowrun, Battletech, and an anthology. You can find them all on my website, jenniferbrozek.com, with beautiful images. I'm mostly on Facebook and Twitter. And if you like all my kitties, I'm on Instagram as Jennifer_Brozek. Everything else is Jennifer Brozek. And thank you all for coming.
Thank you very much. And last but certainly not least, Saad, our redoubtable AV person and also playing Laureate.
Yes. Thanks everyone for watching. All the subs and hosts and raids. Red Lear and who else was it? Estrix Chaos and Orb Weaver and someone else. WebDM. That's it.
Yep.
Thanks
Thank
for
you
all that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you'll see me streaming on my channel, twitch.tv/sun_. Just at random times. Check it out. You'll see me here again on Saturday for IAB. Go home, check my calendar. So our IAB the next 2 Saturdays coming up, and then I've got Hearts of Wooling on Monday, the next Monday, so 19th. So check me out for those, and then whenever next session of this is, which will probably be next month, John, something like that.
I think
maybe?
we're only gonna. Yeah, I think we're only doing.
You got the all the convention congestion.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, something like that.
If that changes, we will let everyone know as soon as possible. I think we're only doing the one shot because I have 2 other major conventions coming up that just makes things a little too crazy. But if I decide to get stupid and change my mind, we'll let everyone. Right now, we're going to call this the only one for August, even though I know we missed the last one. So we're just gonna call it good. And I am John Helfers, Radio Johnny Panda. I play with IAB with Saad, which is a lot of fun. I run this usually every second and fourth Thursday, right? Yeah, that's what we plan.
Generally, yeah, we're totally off.
We're running it regularly. I know. So I'm tempted to just do the 4th one because then I get back on track for August, but I have to think about that. And let's see, those are the only 2 I really have time to play. Working for 4 game companies and editing other people's work and all that other fun stuff. But thank you all. Thank you, stream. Thank you, players. And we will be back hopefully at Adriel and Emberwind soon. But until then, good night.
Bye, everybody.
Good night.
Hey
Thank you.
guys.
Alright, guys. Hope you enjoyed that lovely Emberwind session. We're gonna host someone now. Raid someone. Do you think we should raid, I think I saw... Was this Fire Snake? Let me check. I got an idea. We'll raid someone from my list. Let's do actually, let's raid Foom. We haven't raided Foom in a while. Foom's playing some Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. Really chill guy. And guys, thank you for watching. And yeah, see you next time.